29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the
29. He's singing about being 29?
Fast forward, never turn back
Who is
again.
They're too young.
It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had
That's
to
like,
leave you,
I call
but
that
now
drum
I'm seeing
dancing.
all the signs.
Very sad.
Is this really happening?
Oh, that Muppet
I
did.
can't believe it's true.
Oh
I'm
boy.
just as
Okay.
surprised as
I'm
you.
back. He's back. Oh God, he's back. Why is he back? Good God. Life is complicated, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot going on, and I struggle sometimes with all this stuff. Anyways, we've had the most amazing vacation away. Absolutely extraordinary. Hello, everyone. What have we got in here? What have we got I should say hi to? Go for Fluffernut. Dramega. Darameja. Leadership. Who else we got in there? I can't read here because it's dark blue, and I can't. What does it say? Norm. You're in dark blue. I'm obviously having trouble with the colors. Go for Fluffernut. Hello, Paperclips. Norm, you just subscribed. Thank you. Your color changed and it made it a lot easier for me to see. Welcome. I think you'll really enjoy this for your 32nd month. 32 months of me babbling on. Extraordinary. Why is there only? I've of course had to move my computer again. I have to give you a whole new tour. Everything's changed around here. Partially because I had to move things out of the way to get rid of a rat. Yeah, that was some interesting stuff. Who else is here? Sergeant Mal Reynolds. Hello to you. What do we got? First time chat. First time here. Hello, says Lof Folk a blank. Lof Folk a blank. Am I going to get in trouble if am I saying something rude? I fall for that every time. Well, welcome anyways, Lof. Who else we got? Amal's Cosmic. Hello. An evening chatter with Mandy 2462. Denguildo. Max Griog. Whiplash alert. Whiplash alert? Yeah, it is true. That could hurt my neck. What hat am I wearing? Oh, I'm wearing my first robotics hat today. I just grabbed a hat on the way out. Somehow seeing David just makes me happy. See? It's like I'm like I should be prescribed. I should be prescribed as a pleasant happy pill. Let me see if I can fix this chat, which is I guess probably is that better? There you go. That's a little better. I don't know why I've got two cameras. Hello. That's for people over there. Hello. That's all very studio-like, isn't it? That seems kind of fancy. Yeah. Let's cut to camera 2. Okay. Chat is paused. Have we got Cal in here? I haven't seen Cal for ages. I want to catch up with Cal. I want to have a chat with Cal. She'll never come on live though, I don't think. I'd love to get her on here just to chat. Just to talk. Just two grumpy people grumping out about the universe for a little bit. I think it'd be kind of fun. Okay, the stuff I wanted to do before I got into our wonderful usual chats with Vibe Pup and Gimpy G, who are they hanging around yet? They're not actually hanging around yet. I warned them in advance. I said, look, here's the deal. I'm going to do some nattering on for a little while before I, become social. Because I've just had a lot. There's just been a lot going on. I've got another crazy business plan. It's not even my plan. It's someone else's plan. But I just love it. And I can't wait to talk about it. And one of the first things we want to use in this plan is the escape room learning stuff, which I think is just amazing. I keep looking. I can always find things to distract me from what I'm doing. I don't know if anyone else finds this as well, but I can always find ways of being bounced off my trajectory. It's very hard to find things that work with what you're doing already. And I feel like I found this weird little equilibrium with what I'm doing right now. If I could say equilibrium. Thank you. Thank you, first time chat, for your 130 sparkling ZPMs. Jerry Kaku. It's very easy to get distracted, as you probably know. Squirrel is my favorite word. Squirrel! And, but now when I do that, I get a camera. It's a squirrel cam. Squirrel! Oh, I like that. Like I said, distracted. So I've been really trying to focus recently on finding stuff that sort of fits with Science Dave with the stuff that I, the genius in the real world, as opposed to just the fantasy stuff. So while we've been toying with some film and TV stuff, I've also just been really pushing to try to get a little more science and tech in my life, in a productive way, and one that can actually sort of maybe even pay the bills and maybe, pay to get the garage insulated. Oh my God, the winter is going to be interesting because I'm throwing a bunch of, can I show you? I guess I can show you a bit of this, can't I? With my squirrel cam. So I've started doing some insulation there. Then I went down the rabbit hole of, which is YouTube, and trying to figure out what the best way of insulating a roof is, because there's a lot of controversy, it seems, as there can be about everything, on cold roof, warm roof, hybrid roof, which some people just scoff at. I am going for lazy roof, but we'll see. Yeah, it's fascinating though. Actually, as with anything, I can literally get interested in anything. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. So I spent like days, partially on my holiday, I suppose, just relaxing and watching videos on how to properly insulate a flat roof garage, which is my new home now. Now that the twins of evil have descended upon us, it's really nice actually. All right, let me point this over here. So this garage door, there's no insulation on. So I bought a bunch of this amazing. Where is it? It's over there. I'll bring it to you. Here, let me bring this to you. Okay. There's also, talk about tripping hazards. It's insane. I've got stuff everywhere. So I've got this high tech. It's not that high tech. Insulating foam with a nice reflective on one side to reflect the heat or the cool or whatever back into the building. And that has to basically requires me to take apart the entire garage door and insert this insulation, and then so you take off a hinge, you put it under the hinge, you put the hinge back on. So it's going to be a hell of a lot more work than I was expecting. I've also got this crazy cool new garage. Get a bit of it out here because it looks so cool. This is a rubber. It's almost like a drape that runs under the garage, but it's built like a shit brick house, I think would be the term, with like a double rubber in it. And the idea is to, when the door shuts, it's going to keep out the cold. It's going to hopefully keep out our little friends that aren't that little. It's like I was wrestling in here with a rat about this big. Yeah, about this big, and then a tail attached. It was absolutely horrendous. I've got footage. I'm not making it up. I have footage somewhere. Put that over there with this. So I've got a ton of work to do, all of which has to get done before the snow falls or before it becomes miserably cold, and I just won't be bothered to do it. So that's the plan right now on that. There's also just a lot. I want to make sure that if I insulate this, I also put in some ventilation and stuff. So that's. I wonder if I should go under on this one. Let me just move this around. Hang on a second. I'm here. Discord, yes. Chatbot, yes. ATM. Do I need that one? Don't need that one right now. Let's bring up the Razer Keo to like there. Oh, I just killed that. Crap. Okay, let's bring this up to there. Back again. Okay. So you've got, I don't know, again, squirrel cam. That's for. Okay, good. Already good. Happy Forkin' Friday. Isn't it great? We got a long weekend here. Is it a long weekend for everybody? We got like a long weekend. I don't even know what that means. What it means is, guess who's going to see Lord Chunky do some robotics at the Canadian National Exhibition this weekend? Me. The poor the family's like going. His family's going. I'm like, can I come? They're like, who? Like, what the hell? Who's this weirdo guy who wants to come to the robotics with us? No, they're friends of ours. But I was like, look, if it's not, I don't know how, like, is that, I don't know what the etiquette of like saying like, oh, you guys are going for a family trip to watch your kid, compete in a competition. Can I come? I don't know what the etiquette on that was, but it turns out they're happy to have me. So we're going to go. I'm kind of excited about that. God, the stuff they've been working on is amazing. And him in particular, Lord Chunky, has been designing and printing stuff for this robot. All on his own. all on his own. That sounds ridiculous. But yeah, he's got. I gave him one of my 3D printers to work with, and he's been not even the good one. I gave him the shitty one. And he's printing out this amazing stuff and getting the robot to do all sorts of things. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm also not eating, so that makes for me to be a little more scattered than usual. So yeah, I'm drinking broth for my tummy. The magic of the broth. The screaming, boiling, burning in my mouth hot broth, that is. Okay, long weekend, then 3 extra days off to go to Miami for a wedding. Ooh, I guess a Miami wedding would probably be pretty cool. What else we got here? Yeah, no, he mentioned it before, but he wasn't sure. I think so. Have been wondering myself. What are you wondering about? No, Norm, what are you wondering about? No, I'm scrolling up. Oh my God, we got a whole bunch of people subscribed. Oh my God, Jepper Winkle, thank you very much. What do we got? Norm, what was your question? I can't scroll back far enough. Nice round power 2. What's that? Oh my God, if he shows up here, I'm gonna be so hyped. Where? What? Norm? Where? Where am I showing up? Any update on your attendance at the conference in France? Have they not mentioned it yet? I'm assuming they should mention it fairly soon if they haven't. It's Paris anime manga, which I'm really excited about because, anime and manga. Yeah, so we're going to go. Jane is booking everything, but we're going to go to Paris and we're going to go to London for a couple of days to see friends. I haven't traveled really that much since the pandemic, so I'm always a little nervous about it. I'd rather not go anywhere. But yeah, Paris and I think I've been to this one before. Is this the one that I went to before? Maybe not. I can't remember anymore. But it just sounds amazing. It just sounds like so up my alley. I don't do a lot of these anymore, to be honest. And this one just sounded fun, and we get to go to Paris. And as always, I'm sort of hoping to talk Stargate and science, like get some science and tech in there as well. So if you've got obviously Stargate questions will be welcome, more than welcome. I'll be doing all that silly signing stuff as well. Got to pay the bills. But I'd love to talk science and tech as well. In fact, I should probably talk to them. Maybe we could do like a Stargate Q&A, and maybe we could do like maybe a Tech Bandits thing or something. It'd be kind of fun. Anyways, Cal, Cal's been subscribed for 47 months. Cal, could you stop subscribing? Can I just subscribe for you? Is there a way that I could just can I not just sign her up? It feels weird that Cal's subscribing in order to do all of the hard work on this channel, like shutting me up, reminding me to say hi to people. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Cal. We just a round of applause just for the lovely and talented Cal, who's who's almost grumpier than I am sometimes. Anyways, love you, Cal. She loves that too. If I tell her I love her, I'm sure that she gets all mushy and stuff. She is so, gross. See what I tell you? See? I love you, Cal. Big smoochy kisses for you. Gross, exactly. Number one. See, Cal's number 1. It's official. It's on the interwebs. See, everyone's going to tell you how great you are. What? Wait a sec. Who deleted what? Is she deleting compliments now? She probably is, knowing her. Posting links. I see. Leah, 84. Thank you for your subscription as well. No. Sorry, what are you trying to do? What's the chat? No, it's the Nightbot. Yeah, right. That's her. That's what she says. She says it's the Nightbot. I'll bet you it's her. I don't trust her at all. All right, let me see if I can move this around a little bit. Oh, can I do this? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm on this. Oh, on that funky one where I can move things and then transition. Look at that. There you go. Okay, I tried to post a link to the clip on YouTube where you attended Toulouse. Yeah, the Toulouse game show. Is that the same thing? Because that was great. I loved that. That's what reminded me of it, actually. But we also did an event in Paris that we loved as well. Okay, but I gotta focus. Focusing. Here I go. This is the version of me focusing. Okay. So I wanted to do my audio version of the Email of Awesomeness. I know it's not very official or anything, and it's silly to do it live probably, but I just want to do it because I realized that here I am talking about assistive stuff and everything, and I don't want someone having to listen to the Email of Awesomeness like this is a copy of the basement punishment at. I mean, I just that's by the way what I'm just reading for some reason on the page here. Basement punishment. Okay, basement punishment. What the hell am I reading there? What is that? Oh, banishment, not punishment. I should learn how to read. Okay, so this is a northerly email of awesomeness for you this week. I've been up in I would, to some people, I claim to be in Algonquin Park because it sounds kind of, manly, with canoes and bears and moose and elk and things. We were like Algonquin Park adjacent in that we had great Wi-Fi, running water, a nice cottage that we borrowed from friends. It was really nice. So, and I went up with my two of my favorite people on the planet, which happen to be Bag of Chips' mom and dad, who are biologists, but one an entomologist, one an arachnologist, and they're just freaking brilliant, wonderful people to hang out with. Just great people in general, as is Bag of Chips, I should say. All right, so Algonquin Wilderness Misadventure, as I put it. Jane has dragged us off. I'm starting again. Yeah, because I'm obviously not reading it. I need to move this a little closer, I think, because my eyesight is... wait a second. Oh, it's in focus now. That's better. Yes, Jane has dragged us all off into the north of southern Ontario. So, yeah, we're in southern Ontario. We had to go up, as far as I could tell, up, to get to Algonquin Park, which is absolutely gorgeous, and you should check it out if you get a chance. I mean, it's wilderness. It's like bugs and bears and crap, and crap. There was crap there, too. But it was... kind of amazing. And it's the sort of thing that's great to do with biologist friends because you can go, what's that? And drive them all crazy the whole time. So, she was calling it a holiday, but I am actually enjoying nature or being consumed by nature in a way because of the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes were pretty wretched. Like there were sort of little patches. When there was sun, it was fine. When it got a little overcast, the mosquitoes would descend. But I'm not a bug guy. Like that's when I want to pave nature, is when there are insects involved that bite me. I've already seen a werewolf. Oh, this is my update. I've already seen a werewolf, and no amount of reassuring that I only have to worry about coyotes, moose, bears, and local lone wolves is going to change that. I swear to God, we're driving along. We come in, and this thing sort of slinks by in the corner of the road, and I get a glimpse, and it's like it looks at me and I look at it, and it looked almost human. It was like this weird, like it was hunched down, and I'm convinced it was a werewolf or a werewolf in transition. I think it possibly a human turning into the wolf form, I believe is what it was. And I'll go to my grave with that. But I've been told that the only thing you have to worry about up there is coyotes, moose, bears, and local lone wolves. Also, the largest spider in, I believe, Canada. The what do they call it? The dock spider is the dock spider is a nice way of putting it. It has a better name, like killer giant hairy spider or something. But I got some footage of that too, which is just extraordinary. Amazing beasts, unless they're on the wall of your bedroom, which they were. So yeah, nature. I'm on the fence about nature. I think it should be fenced off, maybe paved. So that said, we were staying with entomologist extraordinaire, Bag of Chips, and his amazing arachnologist and entomologist parents. So I'm having an absolute blast. In fact, and then I got to post a TikTok of my tardigrade. Yes, so last year I spent the entire holiday looking for tardigrades. It turns out they're an elusive beast. They're not actually all that elusive once you know where to look for them. But it was finding the right moss and giving them a little bit of time for the water to get in there and for them to start going, hey, this is cool, man. Start floating around. They're the cutest thing on the planet. They're like little, they call them moss piglets or, what is the other term they use for it? Water bears. Honestly, I'd call them moss puppies because that's what they look like, little puppies. They have little claws. They like move around. They like scratch their head. I mean, it's just, these things are extraordinary, all at a microscopic level. It got to the point where we were so good at seeing them that we could pull up a slide and go, oh, there it is, and then go down and look at it that way. We used this dipple microscope, which was just amazing, like absolutely amazing. I'd not really played with it before. I played with it a little bit using slides, and I was a bit like, it's a bit fiddly. But once we got it out in the field, so to speak, as the professionals would say, it was amazing, just amazing to have a go with that. So... a little sip break, a little broth break. That's right. Tardigrade mission complete, located and filmed for your viewing pleasure within a day of being here. Yeah, literally within a day we had these things. Then we started like we could not. We were literally like, oh my God, look at it go, laughing, and yeah, it's like we'd found our favorite pets. And now I'm gonna look for them here. I want to find some here, and see if I can maybe keep a few of them alive. I'd like to see. I want to see. We had one of them on a slide. We let the water dry out, and then it sort of turned into this little curled up little thing. You add water again, and slowly you see like a little claw starts to go, and then the paw starts to go, and then they're back alive again. Like, these things are freaking zombies. They're amazing. They should call them moss zombie puppies, because they're like a desiccated little husk that come back to life again. They're extraordinary, just extraordinary. We'll get to this a little later, but we crashed a freaking lander on the moon full of those things. Like, we basically, potentially, we've already, colonized the moon, but only with tardigrades. So that's right. Tardigrade mission complete. Located. Filmed for your viewing pleasure. How cool these little critters and the amazing dipple microscope system. That is not a plug. That was a Kickstarter that I supported because I just thought the system looked cool, and it was just, I love the idea of like cheap, down and dirty, easy to use like tech for the field, so that anybody could do this, right? I mean, the more expensive and exclusionary the more excluded people are in this stuff. So the more sort of open source and available stuff is far more exciting to me. Although I do like some fancy. I've been looking at water cutters, whatever they're called, Wazers. Wazer is a brand, but the idea is using jets of water to cut things, and it's just, it's pretty cool. That was actually related to Lord Chunky because he wants to cut some aluminium, whatever you say, to use as coolers in his PC build, which of course he's 3D designed as well. But anyway, that's the side point. All right. Of course, thank you for that Dipple system because of course I paid for that with Tech Bandit's money. So thank you everyone for that. And just make sure you give. Oh yes, so what I did was I was like, do people? I mean, do my nerds care about a romantic movie with songs in it? I wasn't sure. So I thought, how better to bridge that gap than to show tardigrades playing in the water to the lovely sounds of the soundtrack of The Swearing Jar, which is absolutely beautiful. If I play it, will I get a strike against me? Can I show this? And well, you know what? I think it's just easier to just get the email boss and awesomeness. You'll see it. Or I'm on TikTok now, so I've started doing TikToks that make my son cringe. Okay, so done that. Swearing Jar soundtrack. Give it a listen. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. Tim Williams, I've known him since I was, a kid. I mean, since I was like probably 6 or 7 years old. He threw dirt in my pool. Just saying. We had like one of those terrible pools that are just plastic. Basically, it's a giant wading pool, but you sort of, they up them a bit for the student summers type thing, and so we had one of those, and Tim Williams threw dirt and it landed in the pool, and I was like, "Mom, Tim Williams threw what?" Anyway, he is and always has been an absolutely brilliant composer, and he has very graciously done the music for Jane's film, The Swearing Jar, written by the slightly talented Kate Hewlett, who also wrote the songs in it as well. So between Tim's stuff and Kate's stuff, it's just, get it on your Spotify list because it's just freaking awesome. Speaking of awesome, now Brain Computer Smackdown. I thought this was fascinating. So this is teams of brains. See the brains? See this? Yeah. At Stanford and UCSF, I can't speak today. Words are hard. Have developed brain-computer interfaces that turn the brain signals from patients who can't speak into 62 and 78 words per minute of speech. So literally, these people they don't have the motor, requirements to get their mouths and throats and airways to process speech. This is taking their intention to speak and speaking for them, which is kind of cool, and it immediately triggers some kind of like sci-fi thing as well. You imagine like, hey, I didn't say that. What's it saying? Oh my god, that would actually be kind of cool. Anyways, that's not the point. I'm focusing on the positive before I go to the the negative world of sci-fi. We generally speak at around 160 words per minute. I laughed at that. I was like, what? I don't. I talk a lot faster than that, I'm sure. It's got a digital prosthesis for human speech. So Stanford system picks up the patient's intention to speak as electrical activity in the brain, and then decodes that into a series of sounds, which then get converted into 62 words per minute of intelligible words, which is just kind of mind-boggling, the amount of work that's required to get to that point with this stuff. These signals are collected using electrode arrays that are implanted into regions of the cortex believed to be responsible for articulation and vocalization of speech. So, they pick the area, they put in the implants, the little electrodes, they pick up the signals, and they process it, and they're using like machine learning and stuff for that, obviously, because there's just a lot of data involved. Not to be outdone, UCSF has developed their own BCI device for decoding speech from brain activity. UCSF's system converts recordings of the patient's neural activity into text and audio, where machine learning once again comes into play, mapping brain activity patterns to speech reconstructions. But instead of Stanford's use of electrodes in the brain, UCSF's are less invasive, and they sit on the brain's surface. That's right. So these are not as, you don't have to, they're not jamming them into your brain the way I would be, maybe a little nervous. So they don't, they're not going into the brain the same way. They're just sitting on top of it. Now, the UCSF approach also picks up the patient's intended movement of the throat. This is interesting. Intended movement of the throat, lips, and mouth, and can reconstruct speech at 78 words per minute in both text and audio formats. And there are some seriously cool, as I would say, these are some seriously cool chatbots. It's just an interesting concept and different approaches to it. So again, one of them more invasive in the brain, weirdly slower. I would have thought that would have been faster. The ones that sit on top seem to be are faster also because they're trying to figure out, like, even after you lose the ability to speak, there's still an intention in the brain to move those portions of the body. Could you tap into that and use that to continue speech? And potentially by continuing that, you would you'd also be able to I guess you'd retain that ability too. So potentially if you were constantly, I don't know, if you were, that's interesting. I wonder if by thinking through the process, even if there's tiny movements, microscopic movements, if that somehow helps to, you know, should there become some kind of a cure or some way of improving the muscle ability there, is it possible you'd then be able to speak naturally if those abilities came back because you've been using them all the time? I'd be curious to know if there's like a therapeutic side to this as well. But anyways, point being is you couldn't speak. Now you're speaking at 78 words per minute, which is painfully slow if you ask me. But still, it's, you know, if you can't speak, I can only imagine how cool that is. And I can also imagine how fast this is going to change too, right? You can't fail when you're doing science, right? Or when you're doing science wrong. So, yeah, this is my guilty. I feel a little guilty about this. But I'm not generally one to celebrate scientific failure. But I did get a giggle out of Russia's statement regarding their failed attempt to soft land their Lunar 25 lander in the 100-kilometer wide I can't even say this, Boguslawski crater. It's one of the largest impact sites of the solar system on the moon's south pole. So it's a giant crater, south pole of the moon. This is where people want to go because they think there's going to be water there, or potentially there's water there. But I love this quote. The apparatus moved in an unpredictable orbit and ceased to exist as a result of a collision with the surface of the moon. That was Roscosmos, which is Russia's state space corporation. That was their statement. And then they're like, landing on the moon is not easy, which is true. The moon is hard. But I just loved that it ceased to exist as a result of a collision with the surface of the moon. It crashed on the moon. Yeah, that sounds so much more scientific. So Russia may not have made it to the moon's south pole, but India's Vikram lander sure has. So India has made history by becoming the first country to soft land in the lunar South Pole region, which is freaking cool. I gotta say, I'll rattle on about India in a second in this thing, but I was really impressed with this. And not only that, they've just unleashed the Pragyan, cool sounding word. It means wisdom in Sanskrit. It's a 25 kilogram rover that is carried in Vikram's lander's belly. The plan is spelling mistake. Somebody fire the person. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's yes. Okay, the Pragyan to roam around the rocks and craters of the moon's south pole, gathering data and minerals and chemicals in the soil. So this thing is moving around. Like, not only does it land on the moon, it then births a lander, and then it roves around taking samples and stuff. Like, that's freaking cool. So Pragyan moves at about 1 centimeter per second. Again, painfully slow, and leaves I love this part. This is a silly little thing, but it leaves little ISRO logos. That's the Indian Space Research Organization. So it leaves little emblem as it rolls. Their ingenious marketing department was like, "Hey, if you're going to be on another planet, and there's not a lot of wind blowing there, let's just like stamp our logo everywhere we go," which I just thought was just a great way to go. And so then any data that it gets, it fires back up to this Chandrayaan-2, this circling satellite they've got up there near the moon, and then they fire that back to the Earth for analysis. It's just really cool, and it's fun to watch too because it's just, I mean, the footage they've got of landing is very cool too because they went by soft landing. It means you got to take yourself from going like 160 whatever the hell 1,000 miles a whatever the second. I don't even know what the numbers are. I'm making them up. Totally making them up. But you got to slow this thing down to land on the moon in a way that doesn't break everything on board and the legs and all that kind of stuff. So they did it, and there's a beautiful footage of the landing, which I just loved. And then this is where I started prattling on about India, because India for the win, I say. India is crazy exciting to me because 71% of adults, that's 70% of women and 58% of men, are not having not having a high school, so they don't have a high school equivalent education. That's a huge population. But India's university level education is blossoming. So India accounted for 1 in 10 doctoral students graduating in the G20 countries in 2017. So 1 in 10 doctors in all the G20 countries were Indian. And by 2030, India could account for 1/5, 1/5 of all post-secondary educated people across the world's major developed and emerging economies. Like, that is an educational boom that is extraordinary. And when you think about the population in India, those numbers are huge. Admittedly, there are huge numbers of people who are not educated, but there are huge, rapidly growing numbers of people who are getting educated. And I think what I love about the prospect for India is that you got a young, education-hungry population there. That it can only be good for a country. Yes, I'm sure there'll be problems, but and there are many problems. It seems like corruption seems to be an issue with in politics and stuff, as it is everywhere, but particularly there. But the idea of an educated population, I have great hope for India. I think I bought stocks in like some kind of I bought like stocks in like an India fund because I was like, no, this place is taking off. I want to be a part of this. Okay, space junk. But all this soft and hard landing got me thinking, what is the impact? Impact, yeah. Of leaving things like crashed lunar landers and all sorts of other space junk lying around or floating around. So this is something that I've been wondering for a while now. I saw this amazing map. It's sort of more like an interactive model of the planet. And Earth is just surrounded by crap. There's just garbage flying everywhere. We're literally getting to a point where we may be trapped on our planet because there's too much stuff flying around. Like, what if something happens, knocks a couple things out of into pieces, blows a couple things up, knocks things into pieces? It's going to make it prohibitively difficult to get a rocket off this planet. So we got to be careful about this. And I'll get next email of Awesomeness. I found this amazing podcast about this, which we can go into next week. Where there's a company that's working on this, and which is just amazing to me. And of course it's the Woz. It's Steve Wozniak, of course, is doing it. So I went searching for interwebs for information on space crashes because I was just curious specifically about like how many things are we landing on planets and what's on them. Like, are we using nuclear, power for these things? What are we doing? So what I found was a lot of things that spoke to the mind-boggling amount of trackable debris in spacecraft orbiting our planet. Like, oh yeah, you got to see this GoPro. Yeah, there's an amazing GoPro video here of a little rocket going up and leaving little bits of debris behind, which of course is going to be a problem later. So, the moon's atmosphere isn't thick enough to burn up falling space junk the way Earth's is. So in March 2022, a spent Chinese rocket booster unexpectedly hit the far side of the moon, but nobody told anybody. No one knew about it. China, very secretive about these things. So it took a team of sharp-eyed scientists at the Space Domain Awareness Lab at the University of Arizona to identify the object as being of Chinese origin. So originally they thought it was a SpaceX booster. So they're blaming SpaceX. Turns out China had done this. So, but even that required what do they call compositional spectrum analysis. So even though they were pretty sure that's what it was, to prove that's what it was, they had to literally do a spectrum analysis of this thing in order to truly identify it as a Chinese-made booster. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we forgot to tell you about that booster we crashed on the moon. What about that? But even that required and then telescopes. So yeah, so they have specific technology out there now, but only like one company or one group of people is doing this, where they're tracking space debris. And why can't we just communicate to each other about what's up there and what we're doing, and then it would be a lot easier. But no, we can't. Once again, humans are the problem. So the U.S., China, and Russia are talking about building lunar bases in the coming years. And so I just thought that, wouldn't, the random impact of vessels ceasing to exist by impacting the moon, as the Russians would put it, wouldn't that be kind of a bit of a problem for human life and sort of infrastructure on the planet? And I just wonder, I'm not the only person who's thinking this. Like at some point, we dumped a lot of crap in the ocean and fired a lot of dust and crap into the air, pollution into the air. And we haven't learned from that. So we're just starting again on another planet. This is what worries me. Is if we can't figure out how to make stuff work here, how do we make stuff work on a planet that doesn't have any of it to start with? We're destroying what's available to us, and yet we intend on going to another planet and making it livable? That's going to be an interesting one. Tardigrade impact. This was fun. And horrific. I was horrified, thanks to my own recent tardigrade sightings, intrigued, more like delighted, to learn about a 2019 Israeli space mission that crashed and dumped a cargo of 1,000 hardy moss piglets onto the moon. So tardigrades, 1,000 tardigrades that I guess they were using in some kind of experiment. They crashed their lander, and they dumped this stuff on the moon. This so-called pristine new world is no longer pristine. So tardigrades can survive in just about any environment, including space. We've literally put them in space, exposed them to UV radiation, and a bunch of them still survived. So vacuum of space, UV radiation, and these things are still crawling around. So, yeah, I'd be curious to know what's going to happen there. We're going to be invaded by tardigrades when they become sentient, So there's a strong possibility that Israelis tardigrades could have survived the ordeal, and we may have already colonized the moon, but unintentionally with moss piglets. I'm having a really hard time today with talking. It's the problems with only drinking broth instead of eating. Delicious broth. The broth will lead the way. I do worry that, like on Earth, we're already starting to indiscriminately dump our trash on other planets. It just worries me that we've literally learned nothing. We dump crap in the ocean, and then oh, that's a problem. Now we're just going to other planets and dumping stuff. And I know it starts off, you're you got an entire planet. There's 4 things, whatever. But that very quickly multiplies, as we know. Once we are capable of getting up there, more people are going to get up there, and there's going to be more problems. So, grumpy McKay I'm dude, clean up after yourself, for God's sake. Don't Zelenka that planet. We know how this ends. Literally. We're living with the consequence of years of ignoring pollution with the global climate emergency. And, what do you think about this? My question here is, what do you think about this laissez-faire? A little French for those of you who are going to Paris to see me in October. Approach to trashing other planets. It seems unlikely that we're going to be able to create and maintain a healthy ecosphere on another planet if we can't even sustain the perfect one we've had here on Earth. So, in a nutshell, those are my nightmares. So that basically in a nutshell is the email of awesomeness. I don't know what the best way of doing this is. Maybe this isn't better done live. Maybe I should just record it as an audio recording, because it'll be less distracting for people, and I'll be less distracted. I don't know. Let me know. Let's go to the chat. Let's go to the Discord. Let's talk a little bit. C'est la vie. C'est vrai, Emiki. C'est vrai. Mark Lapointe, David, just slingshot everything at Jupiter. Exactly. Jupiter, the dump planet. Seems your cough is gone, so that's good. Yeah, Wormhole 42. I'm obviously, leadership and hero. I got over that pretty quickly. And then I think I've given it to everyone that we went on holiday with, just so you know. Yeah, I wouldn't admit to that, but I think that it's possible. China and Russia talk to each other? Well, they do, don't they? Isn't that part of the problem right now? What is it? Thoughts on space travel and humans trying to colonize other planets and our inherent need to be a superior species over others. Again, I always come down to what's the definition of superior? What's superior about us? We can't even survive on our own planet. That's how stupid we are. That drives me crazy. Amy Kit apparently has her keyboard typing for itself. AI. There you go. See, they've taken over. Robots. Rumpelstiltskin. So no Planet of the Apes to fear, just the Planet of the Tardigrades? Yeah. Wouldn't that be... honestly, they're the cutest things on the planet, although those claws are huge. I'm telling you, there's a sci-fi movie in this. The Tardigrades crashing on the moon. That would be... Someone's going to have some fun with that, for sure. Great to see you live again. Thank you, Mad Gums. Very good point. If we don't take care of this planet, why move to another and ruin that one? Basically becomes like Independence Day, the movie, except we move planet to planet after leaving non-biodegradable waste. Yeah, I mean, in a way, we're scared of something coming and destroying our planet. We may be that thing. Maybe that's us. Maybe the fear we have is what if another civilization that's more advanced than us and has destroyed all of their planets comes back and goes like, oh, your planet's not totally wrecked yet. Let's take that. You know what I mean? Like, this is the problem. Were tardigrades on Doctor Who once? Were they? They sound familiar, don't they? Tardigrades. It's possible that they knowing Doctor Who, there's a science connection to that too. So, all right. Where's my Discord? I should talk to my Discord. Where are my friends? Where are my friends? Let's go to here. Let's go to live chat. Oh, there's nobody in today. I guess, you know what? It is summer. Long weekend. Well, we'll just talk on the... we'll just discuss things here on our chat, shall we? Okay. They were in Star Trek Discovery. I'm sure, like, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, the moss piglets, the whole idea here is that these are some incredibly, robust little creatures. I mean, it's very hard to kill these things, although I managed. Elizabeth the Zed, Fluffy Fearless is at the park, but he might be back later. We are playing with a new chocolate 3D printer. Oh my God. I literally looked at them and I was like, you know what? If I get that, I'm just going to be a giant, fat, spotty thing. Because I'm just going to eat chocolate the whole time. Oh, no, I ruined it. Anyways, so I had a Fluffy for me. Fluffy Fearless. I like Fluffy Fearless, too. That's pretty good, too. And hello, of course, Elizabeth with a Z, or Z, as I should say. Hello. Hello?
I am just coming in to say my hello of the Tech Bandit stream. I am currently out playing Pokemon Go, which is my new addiction.
You're back into Pokemon Go?
I just got a SIM card, so I have been addicted to it.
Oh, dude, it's the best, and it's the worst. It is the best of times. It is the worst of times. Are you streaming it? Have you figured out how to capture it? You should be streaming that stuff.
No, I out with a friend, and we went over to a big thing, and we found another guy playing there. So now we're just waiting to fight a big boss.
The Baz and I used to do that. And then it started driving me crazy because I realized we were walking around just playing on our phones and not actually talking or anything. And then my wife got into it, and I swear to God, she's worse than Baz was about it. Like, absolutely obsessed with it. Well, thank you for checking in. That's great. Don't let us I don't want to get in the way of your battling of Pokemon. And well done for checking in while you so you don't miss a class. A class? What do we call these things? Club? Whatever.
So this is my check, and I still have not missed one. I'm gonna go.
All right, get out of here, buddy. Have fun.
You too.
Cheers. That's cool. That's very, very cool. I got to say, one of the things I've been worrying about with Tech Bandits in general is, like, it's online. And I feel like we've done a lot of online. The pandemic has led to a lot of online and a lot of online school and a lot of online crap that you just don't get the same stuff. I love hearing, even if they're on their phones, I don't give a shit. The reality is he's out there doing something. He's excited about something. I think that's so much better than sitting around on a computer the whole time. So that's good. Good for him. I'm glad. And also, the fact of the matter is when you go out in the world, you see stuff, There was a Stargate SG-1 episode where the alternate future Ashen were turning Saturn into another sun to increase the growing season. That's pretty cool. I remember thinking that's exactly what humans of the future world would be okay with. Yeah, I mean, that's what look, I'm a tech optimist. Absolutely, tech optimist. I always feel like this is like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's going to help everyone. I never really think about, or not until recently, have I thought about the negative side of stuff. Then I got older, more jaded, more Cal. And I started going like, you know what? If we do that, we're going to do something stupid like this. The AI thing is interesting because, I had a discussion with a friend actually from MGM the other day. And we were talking about AI and they were not that they weren't a fan of it, but they weren't using it. And I was surprised because I was like, look, you're doing a lot of statistics and number related things. I mean, I would have thought that would be a tool you'd want to use. So I think I've convinced them to talk to their kid about using it to do some stuff, because I was just like, look, I mean, even just as a tutor, as a coding tutor, it's amazing. And I know that even like Khan Academy is starting to work with it as well now, where they're coming up with a way of guardrailing a Chat GPT style thing into their educational process, because they're like, look, like, why fight it? Got to use it. Don't fight it. You know. Everyone goes like, oh, I talk about like law, and people go like, oh yeah, there was this case where this lawyer went in and used AI, and he got in lots of trouble because it just made crap up. And I'm like, yeah, that's a bad lawyer. That's not bad AI. That's a bad lawyer, because it's a tool you use badly. I mean, it's not like, it's like saying that spell check changed a word and the entire meaning of a contract, but you didn't read it over, so you didn't notice. That's I just feel like it's the tool. It's a tool. You got to use the tool well. What's Cal grumpy about now? God, this chair is uncomfortable. Maybe it's the concrete floor. Maybe it's just old. Maybe I'm just old. All right. I personally think the fear of AI is just human nature of the unknown. But I think AI will enrich our lives. Well, it already has in many ways. Mad Gums TV. Yeah. I'm a big believer in technology saving us. Like I feel like all of the problems we have can eventually be solved with technology. We just have to want to. I mean, the scary thing with the global side of stuff is I don't know how many more sort of cataclysmic events have to happen before people go and take notice, myself included. Like, I continue my life tearing into plastic packages and stuff. I mean, we had Candy Medusa on years ago now, but who was trying to remove plastic from her life. And that is not an easy thing to do. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that we're not willing to make those, to make those sacrifices. So, what else? How is the actor-writer strike going? It's long, Amy. It's long. It's like I said, I feel like we're at when I got into the industry, back in my day, originally when I got into this, film and TV were kind of it. They were the place to be. I guess music to some extent as well, but in my world, you went to movies, you watched TV. Those were that was our internet. I mean, that was our. Now I sound like I sound like a Taylor Swift song. But that movies and films, movies and TVs were what I wanted to do every second I could get. I was in the theater watching a movie or VHS, or when we had parties together, we'd grab all the. We'd grab all the alcohol and we'd sit down and watch like 50 movies over a weekend or something. It was everything to us. It had such an impact on our lives and on the lives of everyone else, because that was what we did for entertainment. We don't have that kind of hold. Like, the industry that I've been a part of since then doesn't have the same hold on the world as it used to, or even on myself. I still, if I were to look, I should probably do the numbers, but I would say I spend more time looking things up on YouTube and learning things and watching things on YouTube than I do on television anymore. I watch the odd movie once in a while. We had a lot of fun watching and ripping the new Flash to pieces. God, they're just so freaking lazy. I'm sorry, but these films, it's like they don't even bother with the script anymore. I don't know. I don't understand. There's some really cool stuff. There's some really funny stuff. But I think it's a bad sign when you see a writer and then you see, another story writers or whatever it was. I want a singular vision. Have one person tell me a story. You got 50 people telling you a story. It's all over the place. And that's what this thing looked like. Again, some cool effects, some awful effects. But I just feel like we could be smarter. Does it have to be so stupid? I don't know, it drove me crazy. Also, don't even start me on the whole, the paradox thing that everyone likes to try to explain away with a bowl of spaghetti. I mean, that's just, it drives me crazy. I mean, people are worried that AI are going to take away writing jobs. Absolutely, they are. Because they might as well be AI, the way this stuff is written. They might as well talk to their marketing department and their toy division or whatever, and say, what's the best way to sell these toys and make a lot of money and appeal to everybody and have a few scenes that we can put on social media to make it exciting for everybody and get them into the theater and to disappoint them. And I feel like that's what's happening. I mean, the Barbieheimer thing was the only thing that I guess was of a bright spot, I suppose, for film and TV. But even then, that was a triumph of marketing, not the filmmaking. I'm sorry. I admit I've not seen the films. I'm not a big fan of going to the theater anymore. But I I just feel like we are judging films on how well they are marketed. Like the Oscars should just be about, and the best marketing for this actor or that performance or that type of film is this, because the reality is that's how we judge our films now. As soon as we started calling films and TV content, I think we were in trouble. I admit it, that it's a business. I've always said it's a business. It should be run like a business. And if AI could spit out crappy Flash scripts the same way that humans can, then AI might as well do it. It'll be better at it, frankly, because it has a better sense of everybody and what works and what doesn't work. Honestly, I mean, not to sort of, well, no, absolutely, aside with the AI and robotics. I just saw a janitor robot that went into a toilet, cleaned the toilet, disinfected everything perfectly, and then left. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want a robot to do that? I don't want humans to have to do that. That's freaking gross. You know what I mean? Best friend has a technical writing job for a large company. In your opinion, should he be preparing to lose his job in the near future? Yes, absolutely. Fake cafe. That's the shock answer. And then let me step back for a second and say, everyone should be doing an AI audit, as I call it. They should be looking at their job and how AI can be used in that job. Because as long as you're the one using those tools, you are not going to become sort of a victim to them, if that makes sense. So if they're in technical writing and they like technical writing and it's a good job, it sounds cool to me, then I would absolutely be looking at how can AI make your job easier? How can you get more done with AI? How could you use the human elements, the human elements that AI can't recreate, like, engaging with the audience, making things more intuitive for them as a human, because AI is not going to be better at that. I think the AI audit is the way to go. And I force myself to do it all the time, to go like, okay, let's say acting is replaced by, for the most part. If I was a studio now, I would do two things. Talking about getting rid of jobs. I'm bouncing around a little bit. I'll get back to you in a second on that, but it'll come around. So if I was a big company right now, I would say screw the film and TV industry. There's way more money being made in short form videos on TikTok. Let's just pivot all of our stuff to that. You know what I mean? Imagine if those resources were all spent on some kind of a short form social media type thing. I mean, kids are watching films on TikTok in pieces. You know what I mean? I should be careful I don't miss out on people popping into the chat because my headphones have gone to sleep. Anyways, so they, I don't like that because I like film and TV. I like watching longer form stuff. I enjoy being lost in the stories and stuff. But a lot of people don't. And if you're competing with that, it doesn't make sense to spend billions of dollars making movies when you could spend a few million creating a platform and licensing all of your intellectual property, all of your characters and stuff to be used in cosplays and stuff with content that's made for free online. You cannot compete with that. And I think that's a sad reality. It's one of the reasons why I'm afraid I don't stand with I do stand with SAG and the writers for sure. But I don't feel confident about it. Like I don't feel like this is the right way to do it. Because I do think we're expendable. I think what is coming into focus now for me is that we are replaceable with AI. I thought creativity was safe. I really thought creativity was safe. I said everyone should get into film and TV and writing and performance and all. Everyone should be doing that because that's the one thing AI can't do. Well, guess what? It's actually the one thing that AI can do incredibly freaking well. It's not there yet, but it's getting very good at it. It's very fast. The idea of, did you for a second think that graphic designers would be replaced by AI? Well, guess what? You know what I mean? Like it's upon us. I think trying to fight it with our institutions is not going to. What we need to do is figure out a way to use it and to use it to create a better world and to create better jobs and allow creative people to be more creative. You know what I mean? Just because you can do stuff easier doesn't make people less talented. It just means that the more talented people will be able to come up with better ways or faster ways of creating more of the stuff that they like. And certainly, I think underestimated all the time is the assistive element of this too, right? I mean, there are people who can't do paintings and drawings in the style of, Da Vinci or whatever. They can now because they can prompt an AI to do it for them. So I think there are, you know, there are always growing pains with this. I remember there was a huge, I'm so old that I remember when word processing came out, you know, and I had an essay sent back to me by the teacher saying I cheated because a computer wrote it for me. I'm like, what? I typed it onto my freaking Bank Street writer, and I got sent back, and I had to write it all by hand because that was cheating, apparently. You know, people's understanding of this stuff, I think, is going to change. I hope it's not going to become like a Luddite, you know, attacking the looms. Although my friend would say that wasn't about the technology; it was about the fact that they were, you know, they had kids in these factories. You know, that it was more about the working conditions and the fact that you couldn't earn a living, which I think is a problem. But I don't think that's a problem for unions to work out. I think that's a problem for governments to work out. The reality is we should have a livable minimum wage that everyone gets paid. And yep, that's going to put a bunch of companies out of business. And I'm sorry, but you know what? If you can't afford to pay someone a living wage, then you should not be in business. And I mean that to all the big companies and everything. I think it's got to change. And also the value of a company's got to be seen as more than just a financial one. You know, what is your value in your contribution to this planet? That should be far more important than what you can contribute to your stockholders. You know, I think there should be a system where you can celebrate companies and reward companies for the good they do, not be constantly trying to sort of smack them down like whack-a-mole as they break rules and undermine, you know, their employees, make their lives more miserable. The fact that drivers for, was it USPS, the USPS or UPS, I can't remember, had to strike to get air conditioning in their cars because the planet has become so warm. Like, Jesus, I don't know how many more signs of the apocalypse you need than that. You know what I mean? And yet, so that is why I struggle to get too worked up about, you know, poor actors and writers who can no longer earn a living. I've never assumed I could earn a living as an actor. I mean, I'm sorry. That has never been something. I'm always amazed and overjoyed when someone pays me to act. I feel like I've won the lottery. I don't think it's my right. I think it's my right to earn a living while I'm working, but I don't think that I should be able to earn a living by working for 23 days a year. And then I don't want to be complaining about, you know, I used to be able to live on 23 days of work a year. Well, guess what? The industry is different now, and you can't earn a living on 23 days of work a year now. I don't think you should have to. I don't know. I don't think any company should be responsible for that. You know, admittedly, I think a lot of these corporations have made promises they can't keep. Governments have made promises they can't keep. And I think that the only way to make things work is to make it work for everyone. I mean, wouldn't it be better for just everyone to say, like, hey, I want whatever it would be. I don't know, $25 an hour. What would a good minimum wage be? I mean, I sound like a freaking. The other issue, of course, is that you know, I come across sounding like some kind of like revolutionary or something. But I you know, I like to think of myself as a capitalist, a terribly bad one. You know, I'm definitely generally lean more right than left. Although since the Orange Pumpkin took over the Republican Party, I don't feel like that's not my party anymore. So, you know, 25 to 30 is considered keeping up with inflation. So, okay, so we all go to $30. If it's $30 an hour, you know what? Then you know what? That's the least an actor can get paid. Or that's the least a writer can get paid, $30 an hour. But you know that a lot of these creative types are going to do stuff for cheaper anyways. And that's my problem. There's no leverage there. You know, like you go like, that's it. I'm not working unless you pay me $30 an hour. They go, okay. They don't pay you. They just get someone else. There's so many people who want that job. And I think that's something we forget. You know, the other thing that we're seeing during the strike, boy, long answer, isn't it? No, not the strike. Sorry, I wanted to come back actually to the question about, you know, whether a technical writer should be looking to get out of that. I think we all need to look at pivoting. It's like, how can you harness the knowledge you have and use AI to make that more of an impact at work, make you more valuable at work rather than less valuable. I think that's the key on the technology stuff. You know, I think as long as you're scared and you're researching, you're fine. If you're just scared and grumpy, then that's not going to help anybody, right? Remember that, Cal. I just described the point of a union. Well, no, Elizabeth, that's my point. My point is not that we should have unions. My point is we should have a government that we shouldn't have to have unions because corporations and people should be paying other people a minimum wage that doesn't need to be negotiated, that is not negotiated. I think a union, to me, there's too much corruption and too much organizational and politics involved in unions. There's less in government. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like if you could just have a base minimum where everyone has enough to survive, which I don't think is impossible in this day and age. Surely we've got smart people who could figure that out. Maybe there's some smart people who could earn a little less money a year. Maybe just a billion here, a billion there, something like that. Pay some taxes maybe, so that there's enough money that when people work, they're earning enough to live. Then there's no need for unions because there's just a general adherence to human rights and human dignity by the governments that we elect in the first place. My problem is a union then goes to battle with the government, then goes to battle with the corporations and stuff. I want a system that just crosses all of the boundaries of this stuff. And I know it's naive, but I don't see another way around it. I think, I just think there's too much. Once you get into all these other organizations, so many the government's already so freaking complicated as is already. I feel like it needs to be, the complication of special interest groups and this and that. I just feel like, save the planet, look after people. That's like, really, is it that hard? I just feel like that's where we should be going. Unions are the ones who originally gave government to pressure. Yeah, no, I look, I'm sure that's, yeah, absolutely. I think there's, collective agreements and collective bargaining and stuff. That's, obviously, but I would argue that the best collective bargaining you could have is a population that's voted for things to happen and then held their government responsible when they don't happen. Like, the biggest problem that I think North America has is that everyone thinks they're going to be a millionaire. So everyone votes towards incentives that will help them once they're millionaires. But I feel like we've been like told for, I feel like I grew up in a conservative household for sure. And all of the politics and the news and the manly beliefs, because there is a certain patriarchy to this stuff as well. There's definitely sort of a manly belief that you go out there and you work for yourself and you earn a living and you do what you have to do. And well, why would we trust corporations any more than we trust the government? I'm not saying trust the government. I'm not saying trust corporations. I'm saying we don't trust any of them. So let's have a system that makes them do what we want. The whole point of a government is to look after its people and to protect its people, And that doesn't exist anymore. I think we've got a government that's run by corporations right now. That's it. I think the unions are toothless in many cases. Or I think in the case of, frankly, from writers and SAG, I think they're antiquated. I think there's some really, really smart people, who I just don't want to believe that that creativity is no longer just a human trait. It is now something that AI can do. It's what we've done all along. It's taken our experiences and our knowledge and combined them into a product of some sort, whether it's a book or a movie or a performance even. They're just a mix, a mishmash, a blender of all of our experiences and ideas that have come before us. So, what AI has done for me has made me question the human aspect of creativity. I'm not sure that creativity is human. I don't think it's necessarily humans have any specific hold over this. Judging by what I see with the way these machine learning systems work, it's just another process that can be automated, and I find that both depressing and fascinating. I like to think of us as, people talk about, like, well, you'd never have the poets like this, that, the other. I disagree. I think we will. I think we're going to have poetry and writing that is as good, if not better, at this process than at the creative process than writers. And I just want to learn how to use that. I want to learn how to use it as a tool. Okay, the problem is our governments have a lot of me politicians who are basically working to make things exactly how they think it should be without putting themselves in other shoes. We have a serious problem with that. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a matter of perspective, and I have that problem as well. Like I have a very specific perspective. I'm straight white male. You know, I have there's a privilege that comes with my existence unto itself. And for a very, very long time, I was completely blind to that. I didn't realize that. But everyone has their own perspective on this stuff. Everyone is biased in their own way by their own experiences, whether they know it or not. I would rather be wrong because I'd learned something. That's my feeling about stuff. That's why I talk about I am racist, sexist, homophobic, and ableist. I say that not glibly. I believe that, and that allows me to learn from other people's experiences. That's my take on it. I mean, it sounds very woke and snowflake or what the hell it is, and it's all just words. But the reality for me is that I want to be wrong so I learn something. I love learning shit. Like it's just if you could explain something to me and I now know something I didn't know before, fantastic. You know what I mean? Like that's just amazing. It's not taking our experiences and our knowledge, it's taking our content. I agree. And I would say that's exactly what we do. That is exactly what we do. You know, films are not lived experiences. Films are products that are generated by people designed to entertain people, designed to bring people into theater. That's not speaking. And many of these things aren't speaking to people's experiences. And I would argue that part of that content is the experiences that other people have had over the years, right? I mean, the reality is the AI has had access to pre-2021 or whatever it is, access to all of the experiences that have ever been documented, right? I mean, we draw on our own experiences as humans, yes. We also draw on the experiences of other people. We draw on the experiences that we've read about, that we've seen in television. We are influenced by all these things. I had a debate with a friend of mine the other day, talking about other days, months ago now, but where we're talking about the idea that if I got an AI or some kind of a process to go through every work of art and figure out who owns what, it could split. You could send money to anybody who that painting was when you put a prompt into Midjourney and out comes an image, it could analyze the image and say, okay, this is what this percentage of this percent. There's a little bit of Degas, there's a little bit of Van Gogh, there's a little bit of Andy Warhol. It's all, and every one of those people or organizations could get a little chunk of money for whatever you paid or whatever for that process. Except that I would argue, and this is an experiment that'd be fun to do, I would argue that if you put an original piece of art through that process, it would also start divvying it up as well, because we've been influenced by those greats ourselves. We like to think of it as, oh, it's influence, it's experience, it's this, it's that. What if it's just data? Like, what if the reality is, this is not a creative process. This is a almost a random process of pulling together links and stuff. The other thing about creativity is, does it matter how we get there? Like, so we come to this story like this. We come to this painting like this. AI comes to this painting like this. I would argue that the complaint we should have is not with the content it's generating. The complaint we should have is how that data got into that system in the first place and whether that was a legal process, right? I mean, really, we should be able to decide how much of ourselves was going to get fed into these machines, pre-2021. So that means all of the Stargate stuff's out there. Every interview I've done, every piece of writing I've done, that's all in that system as well. I've actually never tried writing something in the style of David Hewlett, but I don't imagine I don't know what that would be even. But I probably, if I sifted through contracts and stuff, I probably signed something somewhere that said they could use my content in any form, whatever. So there's definitely legal stuff to figure out here. I just feel like a blanket statement against AI because you're worried about it using other people's stuff is a slippery slope, because at what point did then we start charging human artists for their own plagiarism to some extent? Plagiarism is the wrong word. In some cases it is plagiarism. In some cases it is just copying other people's stuff. and some of the TV and film I see are they're just other people's stories reworked into with these characters. I mean, how many stories have we seen about superhero loses powers, gets powers back? I mean, like these are tropes, these stories that have been going since the Bible, for God's sake. I mean, for God's sake, there you go. Anyways, it doesn't have access to the experiences, though. It has access to the data that was created from those experiences as mediated by humans without continue to high quality data they're already experiencing model collapse. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. I don't know, Elizabeth. I really don't know. I mean, I feel like, yes, we have a lived experience, which we can draw on, which I guess the lived part, again, this is where you go, like, how do I fit into the AI model? If AI can take life experiences from the collective knowledge of the human race since, the dawn of writing, if it can take experiences from all of those things, as we can as well, it's just better at it because it's got access to more of it and it can process it faster. I mean, it'd be like us like trying to sip out of a fire hose the amount of information it's able to process. So we need to add our lived experience, which it doesn't have, to its vast data troves of tropes and ideas and concepts and its ability to randomly link things in a way that an ADHD brain does. Anyways, I mean, it feels very ADHD to me. It feels very much like my own creative process, and I guess maybe that's why it appeals to me so much. So I think, I think, to agree with you on that, Elizabeth, I think yes, to avoid a model collapse, to avoid a sort of a saturation point where it's not actually, nothing new is actually being created, I think it would be very interesting to have, the organic human brain involved in this stuff as well. I think it's important probably for it to have new content. And as you say, the data it has is incomplete. But I would argue the data we have is incomplete as well, because we have our perspective on things and we also have our limited knowledge. Some greater than others, admittedly, but it must have been so disappointing to great writers when people could just look things up on Google. They'd done all the trouble of researching and learning and drawing from their years of reading. We can now go online and look up what's a great way to fight to fight off a bank robbery using X number of tools or whatever. And sure enough, someone's already done that somewhere. It could be drawn on for that. I mean, I would say that film and TV has got to the point where it is so by the book. It is so formulaic in its process. It might as well be automated, I guess is my point. Little films, AI is not writing the swearing jar anytime soon. You know what I mean? It's not writing a little heartfelt movie, a personal heartfelt movie. Absolutely not. It might be able to, and I guess one of the things I think we need to experiment with and figure out is, what is the process of creation? I mean, what is creativity? Because I'm beginning to worry that we are just a chemical computer that processes data, and we just process it a lot slower than AI does, at least the current AI. And I, maybe we it's a bit like Debug, which please don't go see because I hate it. The whole original concept before it got destroyed by the film industry, was the idea of there was an organic aspect to the computer, because that's what gave it the ability to act in a human way. And of course, the problem being, of course, humans are not always good. So, but the idea that a biocomputer, we are biocomputers, right? Could we not have cells on a chip that add that mad spark of what to creativity that AI can't deliver? What do we got? Where are we at here? The system is flawed in its own reasoning because you can run a picture of a cave painting from 3,000 years ago and it would recognize it as a copy of something more recent. The system is flawed in it. Oh, well, yes. Sorry. Yes. I guess the idea is just to try to figure out how did the system is generating this art, where did it get, it'd be nice. There must be a way of analyzing its processes and saying that's got a 1% bit of this and a 0, almost like a ancestry. It's like a DNA, like unraveling the DNA of the algorithm that created or the machine model, the learning model that created it, to come up with how it created a painting that looks so similar to, that has, modern aesthetics, but still looks like a Van Gogh painting. I mean, how many times have you seen that? Doctor Who has this wonderful Van Gogh TARDIS. I mean, should we be upset about that because somebody took a Van Gogh and made a TARDIS look like a Van Gogh? No, I think it's freaking cool. I put on a t-shirt, I wear it. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the, if an AI did it, they'd freak out. They'd be like, oh, look, see, AI is ripping off Van Gogh. It's like, well, we've already done that. Humans do that all the time. We rip off stuff all the time. I mean, great people talk about great art being theft. I mean, that's, it's a big part of it. And I think that, yes, this is definitely theft. Xenos, thank you very much. Yeah, debug was, I'm afraid debug for me was just an experience that I just hated the experience. We worked with the wrong people, and it was a terrible experience. And I'm just very lucky, very lucky to have my friend Jason back because of it, because it almost destroyed our friendship. And that was, I guess, one of the reasons why I hate it so much. I've always wanted to revisit the concept, though, because I think maybe there's a comic book or a book or something in there, because I'm fascinated by the idea of like this organic computer and how that can be used for good and for evil. Anyways, what else have I got in here? I would say that as in its infancy, and like the internet as a whole, it blew up so fast, was unregulated and managed and unmanaged, and it got out of control before we knew it. Yeah, Devil Arrow, you're right. I mean, the key, I'm always nervous about regulation because because again, like I say, I'm a Republican at heart. I feel like the government should stay out of stuff. And yet at the same time, I've now become someone who believes that the government has to step in on some of this stuff. Government should have been creating AI. I'm sure they were to some extent, but they should be pioneering this stuff. AI should be like NASA. This is something that the government should have been behind in the first place. They could have set guidelines and stuff. Instead, it's all special interest groups and mad billionaires, as they would say. Van Gogh's public domain. There you go. Van Gogh's public domain now. So what? Wait 50 years. Everything that we know now is going to be in public domain, and there you go. The problem solved. Don't you love the Nick? I love the Van Gogh TARDIS. Absolutely love it. When I had a basement place, so cold, the rats they gnaw. I actually printed out a nice picture of that TARDIS. I was very taken with that. I loved that episode actually. That Van Gogh episode was really fun. What else we got? Or just hook up our brains for collection of more data as we go about our lives. Yeah, I think Elizabeth's being facetious, but I'm kind of. I mean, we're just talking about brain-computer interfaces. Like I think there's something to that. You want a truly immersive experience, then screw all this putting on headphones and goggles and walking on treadmills and stuff. Just hack the brain. And weirdly, I have no problems with that. I love that concept. I think that's why Lance and I get along so well, is because Lance would be quite happy to have his brain hacked as well. I just, I think that it's a fascinating topic, and people get very, very worked up about it, I have to say. Me too, for that matter. I mean, I get frustrated when I feel like people aren't giving, AI a chance, or when it gets equate to like the crypto bro stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm absolutely fascinated by it, as I am with most technology. But the non-Disney version of Winnie the Pooh is public domain now, and we have that horror movie. Has anyone seen it, Rumpelstiltskin? Have you seen that? I was toying with it. I was thinking maybe I'll watch it with Baz. Maybe. I'm a total independent. I can't buy into a political party. They're too motivated by bad characters. Bad characters, art times. Yeah. That Winnie horror was awful. Was it? I thought it probably. I mean, I assumed it was. I assumed it was just like some rip-off crap. I assumed that was the case, but there was something kind of funny about the idea of like, completely perverting a much beloved kids character and turning it into a horror. I think Baz is quite excited about the what's it called, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which I am absolutely shocked no one called me about, because I would love to get murdered by what's it called, Ripjaw, whatever his name is. Slackjaw? What's his name? Something Jaw? Ripjaw? I don't know. Winnie Horror. I'm glad I missed that. Oh, it's around. You'll find it. We should do like we should all watch it together. Okay, Elizabeth. Early LLMs, that is large language models, were funded by government research funds, but they didn't have enough money to pay for the massive amounts of computation. So once the data was cheap and government-funded research had created the tech, private venture stepped in to make the big ones. Interesting. So, like most technical innovations that then get patented and owned by corporations, they started with a bunch of government funding. I mean, again, the system is so. I feel like the system is so broken in that regard. I mean, we're still. I mean, as Douglas Adams said this, we're a planet of people who chase little pieces of green paper around, and we live our lives based on this silly notion of imaginary money. Money is a concept we came up with, and I feel like, whatever. Sounds like it's time for a Discord watch party. Yeah, no kidding, huh? I thought the idea was funny. That's why I tried watching it, but had to give up. Oh, really? It was that bad? Yeah, a lot of them can be. I love that China tried to ban Winnie because the leader looks like him. Yeah, they were using it as a subversive way of saying anti-government things, weren't they? All right, what do we got? I'm really excited about this robots thing tomorrow, by the way. I'm going to go and see Lord Chunky. I think he's competing at this robotics thing. And so I thought, what a great... I snuck into one year. Literally, I was walking by like an old theater place, and it said robots. I was like, robots? And I went in, and they had one of these like first... That's where I got this hat, actually, the first robotics hat. Oh, that's why it was out. I guess I put it out. Yeah, it's good thinking. And I just wandered in. I was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, it's a contest between robots. I was like, oh, my God. I walked out. I said, like, can I come in? And they were really cool. I just walked up and said, like, can I have a look at some of the robots? And they let me in. I walked around. I talked to the people who were building them and stuff. It was just an amazing experience. And that's the DECA guy. That's the Dean Kamen, I guess, was the guy who originally came up with it. He wanted to make science into rock stars. He wanted to make scientists into rock stars. That was his approach. I thought that was very good. Robots is a great excuse, Nixie Geek. It's true. Good evening from Germany, says Zauselbart. How are you? Zausel, how are you? Probably because you're Dr. Rodney McKay. Yeah. What do we got? I thought the idea of what have we got? I think, have I caught up with the chat? Oh my God, I've caught up with the chat. Woohoo! Fantastic. Well, that's a first. Oh God, that's right. Things to do. So get this. I ordered this because it sounded wonderful. It had great reviews. Unlock Timeless Adventures by a company called... Where is it called? Where is it? Where are they? A company called Space Cowboys. Woohoo! What could be more English than that? Well, apparently nothing, because it's entirely in French. I bought the frickin' thing, and it's called Unlock Timeless Adventures. It's all in French. So I was a bit disappointed about that. And then, of course, we didn't open it until we got to the cottage, months and months after the fact. And have I screwed up? No, it's all in French. There's not a single... It's all French. God, that pisses me off. Especially since everything in this damn country is in both languages, always. Until you get to Quebec, and then it's all just French. Yeah, so I don't know what to do with it. Does anyone speak French? Maybe I could send it to someone as a giveaway or something, and then buy a version that's actually in English. But I just couldn't. I just thought that is terrible marketing. You can't call something Unlock Timeless Adventures as an escape room in a box type thing, and then find out that it's all in French when I buy it. I probably should have checked that. Should have checked the damn small print. I can't remember where I bought it from. I can't remember actually. I think I might have gone to Space Cowboys to buy it. So maybe Google just translated it all for me or something. But anyways, sorry, sent it through a translation. Yeah, I wondered about doing that, Sci-Fi Gal. It's a lot. It is a lot to translate because they're each cards with different things on them. But I guess we could do that. I'm in Quebec, but I don't speak French that well. Damn it, Rumpelstiltskin. Could have been a whole freaking game for you there. Try being Belgian. Everything has to be in 3 languages. Is that right? Tex-Mex mix. Wormhole. I think I just broke my back moving a dresser to the 2nd floor. Bad idea. We're all too old for moving. I was too old to move things for people when I was in my teens. What do we got? Damn those Quebecers. It's not actually, yeah, I can't blame Quebec for this because I think this is actually France. So, that French. Hey, I'm going to France. I'm going to Paris. Maybe I should just bring this. I'll just bring this and give it away while I'm there. How's that? Je ne parle pas français. You don't speak French. Very good, Zesselbart. You know what's going to be neat? When the translation systems become good enough that it doesn't matter what language you speak. It just automatically gets. I mean, eventually, I don't think we're going to be that far away from it. The idea of being able to process in real time what someone is saying, feed it to your earpods, what do they call them? The eerie pods, oral pods. I don't know what they call them. That would be amazing. I mean, Google Translator is not bad. But if the idea of it being fast enough to get back to you, has anyone tried it? Does it work? I mean, yeah, I want the TARDIS to translate for me too. That was a great gimmick. They're so good for so many languages right now, and the speech to text is getting better and better with different accents. Yeah, I mean that's Elizabeth. I really, I mean that I downloaded one and then I forgot to. I did like a trial. And it didn't work for what I wanted it to. And then I forgot to cancel the trial. So they charged me like $54 for this thing. But the idea was I wanted it to translate at the film festival. We're at this Fantasia Film Festival, and a lot of it is in French only, which is actually, now I think about it, that kind of pisses me off too, because the reality is you couldn't just do it in English here. You'd have to do English and French. And then I start thinking about them. Wait a second. Then why not the indigenous languages that they're always thanking people for the land that they're on? We have these like land acknowledgments, which I think are great, or to remind people that we've just come in and taken over. But then why do we do it in French and English? Why don't we do it in French and English and whatever the indigenous language was? And why don't we do? And then why don't we look at the population and say like, oh my God, it's like the majority of our population is, I don't know, Mandarin or something. Like why don't we then speak it in Mandarin too? I feel like, I love the idea that there could be some kind of a universal translator. I mean, that'd be great. Let me know if you find any great translation programs. Send them to me because I like to play with them. The other day, the other really great thing are those programs that will take minutes from your meetings and send out a summary to everyone. Those are amazing too. I'm guessing that's using an AI of some sort, or is it just basically text to speech, or speech to text? Is that basically what it's doing? What system are you using, Elizabeth, for that? Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. There's a video that Lance shared with me about a guy who tried to basically pre-Edison to create a way of recording voices. And they've just used AI, and it didn't work. Like it recorded the scratches of the vibrations of the sounds, but of course, trying to read that would be difficult until now. So it's taken like hundreds of years of technology to get to the point where it can now decipher those squiggles, and it actually created a recording of this or recreation of what he had recorded. So it was able to recreate the sound of him humming a little ditty. Of course it's a recording. And the idea was like, this is a ghost. It's a recording from somebody it was never meant to be heard. It was like we're spying on someone in their lab. But just a fascinating. I'll find the YouTube for it. Actually, you know what? I'll put it in my email of Awesome Awesomeness, which you should all sign up. Please, please, please. Seriously, it would really, really help me if you sign up. Go to techbandits.org, sign up for the email of Awesome Awesomeness. The more people I have on there, the better. It just helps. It gives me way more leverage with advertising and stuff if we ever get to that. Sponsors, all that kind of stuff. So please sign up if you know people who will enjoy awesome science and tech related inspirations. Sign them up too. Well, don't sign them up. Don't sign them up without asking. But sign up your enemies without asking. But don't sign up your friends. That would be bad. I think they talked about the recording either on Ancient Aliens or a YouTube video. Yeah, there was a YouTube video recently that Lance sent me that was amazing. Whisper AI on ChatGPT app is great. Voice to text. Is it? Oh, great. Okay. All right, I must take note. Okay, so you really liked You really liked Whisper AI. Okay. All right. I will look up that up. Whisper AI. Whisper AI. Okay. Okay, great. I've got that one. Anything else? What was the other one that you liked? Elizabeth, what was the one you were using? Elizabeth is using... Yeah, I used Otter AI for a while. It was great. The only problem was it was a bit slow and a bit expensive. I found it a bit expensive after a while. Je n'écris pas français ni le comprendre. I don't write French. I don't write French. Something comprendre, understand. Something understand. Palia. What's that? It's a free game in beta that's a cross between Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing. It's calming, serene in the background while you run around and collect hunt. Oh, don't get me addicted to another game. The Nick. God, that's the last thing I need. Let me look it up. I'm terrible with these things. I start them and then I never finish them, and you know they add to that. You know, I'm never gonna write it down. That sounds amazing. I'm not gonna write it down. What was the AI you used, Elizabeth? Did we find out what that was? What Elizabeth was using? We were using read.ai. Oh, okay. All right. Read.ai. I love it. Oh, God, that's something I meant to... Oh, shoot. The internet wasn't great where we were. It was good enough, but not great. So I actually wanted to start looking at those, start plowing through some of those meetings that you sent, Elizabeth. That group that you'd suggested to me. They have a bunch of the recordings now, which you very kindly sent. All right, there's also the Voynich manuscript. What's that? Nor understand. There you go. Ah, see, it was close. Nor. Ni is nor. I like that. I like to throw nor into the French a little bit. Je parle français un petit peu, mais je n'y comprends pas tous les mots. How's that? Heard about it. Haven't played it. Tons of crazy good games this year. Possibly the best year for gaming ever in history. Sweet. Baz is playing a new one right now. Is it?
Headphones to come on, but
honestly, is it Baldur's Gate? Is that right? Did I get that right? Is that the right one? He's totally addicted. Like, I had to ask him like 50 times to freaking to take the dog out, and he was too busy creating a character. But it was really neat. Again, you want to talk about gamification. The idea that he's sitting there coming up with storylines and like, oh no, I want him to be like this because of this. And so as he designs this character with this, you know, this like incredible amount of information, the minutia that you can sort of work on is amazing. I mean, like he's having a lot of fun sort of coming up with reasons why his character is the way it is. What's that? What's going on? I get to hear a lot of the alley because I don't have any soundproofing. I got to figure that out too. I might create a little tent to film in. I might create a little tent out of sound blankets, and that might be good actually to deaden the sound around me, so we get like crystal clear sound. But frankly, the distractions are probably good for you. He chimed in earlier, said he was out doing Pokemon Go. He is in fact doing that. It's true, but he's back. Any good catches, Vipup? Wolfpup?
No, we did the 5-star raid, and I wasn't able to catch it.
Acoustic foam is best. Is that right? This, I gotta say, this mic is pretty good too. This mic tends to filter out most of the stuff. So
hopefully, with the bad luck today, I get good luck tomorrow. Cause
Wolfpup is back. It's Baldur's Gate 3. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
What? The Baldur's Gate 3 controversy? What's that? What's the controversy? There's a controversy? What do we got? I love controversy. Elizabeth the Zed records under a blanket sometimes. Yeah, I've done that a lot.
David.
In fact, I think I did that. I think I recorded a bunch of my stuff for the Last Worker, that fabulous Amazon game. No, it's not an Amazon game, but an Amazon mocking game. Future game.
Hello?
You should check that out, actually. It's really neat. It's called The Last Worker, and it's fun. Oh, my headphones are off. Oh, he's back, as in he's talking. Oh, the freaking headphones, of course. Hello?
Hello?
Vipup! Sorry, I didn't realize I had the... Oh, my God, I just got a photo from Lord Chunky. Oh, yeah.
I was trying to talk to you, and I couldn't tell if you were just ignoring me or if you couldn't hear me.
I would totally have ignored you if I could have, but I didn't because I didn't have my headphones. My headphones time out after a while. If they get bored of listening to me, they get bored of me talking to myself, and then they cancel out. So, I wonder if I could share this. Am I allowed to? Don't know. Anyways, Lord Chunky has just sent me a picture of this crazy freaking robot they've built for their competition, and yeah, won't be able to join again today. But robot is at the CNE. All right. All right. I just gotta text him and let him know that I'm going. Can't wait to see it in action. Will be there tomorrow. There we go. All right. Vibe Pop, talk to me. What's up?
Me and a friend, we tried to do a. Actually, I should probably say this first. The friend I did it with, he would like to join Tech Bandits.
Oh, great. Yeah, well, bring him in. Whatever. As long as his parents are cool with it, I'm cool with it. So.
Yeah, I'll send him an invite in a little bit.
Perfect.
But basically, we tried doing a 5-star raid. We beat it.
Yeah. But it's a 5-star raid is difficult because that means that someone is well ensconced there.
No. He is 50,000 combat points. And
seriously?
Yeah, and most of my guys are 1,800.
Right.
So we tried taking it over. There was 8 people. Some of them were really far away. There was one guy who was 768 kilometers away helping us.
Really? So I didn't realize that. And why did they help you? How do they know? Wait, how could they help you from that far away?
There's such thing in the game called a remote raid pass. Right now I'm trying to get. Cool. There is a community day tomorrow, which basically means there's a bunch of boosts and stuff, and it is Charmander.
Yeah,
so
I like Charmander.
Me and my friend are gonna be going out for like 3, 4, 5 hours tomorrow.
Do you have a battery pack? Bring a battery pack.
Yep, I'm gonna bring a battery pack tomorrow.
I got this mega pack with a solar battery on top, with a solar thing on top of it, and it's the best. It charged my laptop and my iPhone, and it's only like it's like double the size of a phone, just like twice the size of it. It's as thick as the phone, and like double as thick as the phone. We
just got one from the dollar store.
Oh yeah, well that would work too. I want to get one that can have rechargeable batteries in it or real batteries, because if you're screwed, it'd be great to have a system where you can just like run into a store and buy a bunch of batteries and shove it in your charger and you're ready to go. But
yeah.
Does it have to be? Hey, Paperclips, thanks very much. 5 raids. What's that? What?
Wait.
5 raids are really hard to do. Well done on beating it, says Nixie Geek. Someone else's. I have not played Pokemon Go for like 3 years.
Oh no, it's somebody who's played the game. 5-star raids are really hard to do. Well done on beating it. It was really hard to beat. There was 8 guys, and I'm pretty sure most of them had like the best guys you can get in the game.
It's a Randy the Magic Man says, can't talk about the show I'm working on, NDA. Ooh, but I made the broadcast. Good man. So you're busy. That's good. That's Randy the Magic Man, by the way, who's just checked in with us. Micro Mouse would be right up your alley. What's that? What's Micro Mouse? Be careful using cheap batteries and or cheap chargers. They are a fire hazard. Yeah, no kidding. The batteries are... I want to get... there's a thing called a spot welder, and it allows you to... So basically what it means is you can take a... It's like, let's say you're... I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't work on a phone. But if you take a... Let's say you have like a... one of those like electric drills, and the battery pack dies. You can pull the battery pack apart, pull out just the bad batteries, put in new batteries, and then spot weld them back together again. You have to spot weld them because you can't heat those batteries up. If you heat a battery up with a soldering iron, it'll blow up, right? It's not designed for that. It's a robo mouse that navigates a maze. That's what it is. Oh my God, it's amazing. How fast those things can whip through are just extraordinary. Can you say when you can say, says Misho Jat. Ah, it's true. You have to hold up your Tech Bandits coin status. That's true. Randy the Magic Man very graciously was one of the first people to buy Tech Bandits coin. I just sent Randy. I just sent 3 more off today. It's like every week there's like 3 or 4 people who you pick up a coin. It's fantastic. I love it. I actually sent a birthday video to someone because I was incredibly late getting the coins out. I had because we were moving and then we were going away, and it was just a nightmare. Anyways, I've got it working again now, thank God. Anyways, and as sort of as an apology, because it was obviously going to be late for her birthday, I sent a late birthday, so my birthday video was also late. But anyways, I just thought I should do something because I thought, it's customer service, it's a business. It's all about a business. All right, so you've got a battery, you got dollar store battery packs, which are going to die so fast. And you're going out for the full day. Do you have to be still in civilization for this stuff? I found it only worked when you were in it had to be inhabited areas.
No. I've seen people in Force and it still works.
No way. See, that's so much better. That's great. I'm curious to know the advances of it. I loved the idea of it because first off, it gets people out. Like as soon as you left, I was like, I said, that's good. Because, the fact of the matter is we've spent 3 years stuck in front of computers doing Zoom chats and online school and all this crap. We should be out.
I just want to say this. I've only had Pokemon Go for a week. I've walked 25 kilometers.
That's what I found with Baz. Like, Baz is a little guy. You couldn't drag him around the block. He didn't want to do any exercise. So, but Pokemon Go, forget it. We walked for, we literally went on, we'd hop on the subway. We'd go walk around for a while. We'd oh my God, it's the best. Subway systems and buses are great because you can take the bus and just the bus will drive you around and you can hop off and do some Pokemon Go, hop on the bus again. That's, we used to do it with them. We used to do get those tour buses of the city. And you just sign up for 1 day of that and you'd get 1 million Pokemon because it would drive you all over the city. It was great. So.
But
a little Pokemon trick for you.
I'm not spending any money. I wanted to buy a thing for tomorrow. It's like a pass to get extra stuff.
Mm.
I didn't, and 1 second, I'm losing my train of thought.
So you're not spending money. You're just earning.
No.
You're earning the money. Yeah, I think I ended up buying a little bit. I bought a little something at some point because I was down on something. I can't remember what it was. And then I felt dirty. I felt like I was like, oh, God, I've become one of those whales that pays for this crap. You know what I mean? So, Elizabeth, I live in L.A. There was some sort of special dragon Pokemon that showed up in a little arts park near me when the game came out and almost destroyed the park. I've never seen it so busy. And the people who worked there were just astounded. Yeah, we get, even in our neighborhood, suddenly people will drive erratically off the road, land on the sidewalk, and everyone will leap out and Pokemon Go because there's something near us apparently that was working out. The other thing that was weird to me was why were they always at churches when they started? Conspiracy? I think so. I think it's a religious conspiracy.
It's because Niantic is the one who made the game and they have different games, I'm pretty sure, so they just kind of use the other ones, and then when Pokemon Go became big, people were sorry, I'm speaking a lot. Put down Pokestops.
Can you buy a Pokestop?
No.
It's too bad. That'd be kind of fun though, wouldn't it? Just have a Tech Bandits Pokemon spot and put it I don't know, somewhere. Just go I want a Pokemon spot in one in Toronto, one in England, one in London, one in it would just be kind of fun to have your own company represented. It'd be a great marketing tool in a way. You know what I mean? Nixie Geek says the churches because it uses points of interest and all churches are already loaded into the game. Yeah, interesting though, isn't it? I guess that is interesting. Okay, when Pokemon Go was new, I saw crazy huge crowds of people playing when I was at the park. Thought there must have been some sort of event at the park, but it was really just 500 people playing Pokemon Go. Yeah, we saw that a lot, especially in England. It was really funny. In England, you get giant groups of people. Is it coming back then, do you think? I mean, why did you get back into it, Vipa? Or why did you get into it?
Because I just got a SIM card for my phone, so I just kind of wanted to play Pokemon Go because I've never been able to.
So your card, what do you mean by, so you had a phone that didn't have internet access?
Yeah, no data, so I could only use internet in my house.
Ah, I see. That does make sense. Okay. How did we do Baz? Oh my God, did we get Baz a phone? I think Baz took one of my old phones. I think that's what we did. Paid Pokestops for marketing would be so cool. Exactly, Sci-Fi Gal. It just makes total sense. My kids started playing as soon as I got them data too, says Elizabeth. That's true. That's good. Yeah, that makes sense. Good option for kids. No SIM card. Well, or get them a SIM card and they're out walking. What did you say? 25 kilometers?
Yeah.
I
Actually, that was yesterday. I've walked like around 10 today.
You've walked 10 kilometers today alone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Oh, I checked the stats. Yeah, I have walked 10 kilometers today.
Wow. That's pretty great. I mean, do you see, I mean, I mean, I guess you're learning your neighborhood. Are you going somewhere? Like, do you go somewhere and then walk around, or there used to be sites you could go to find out where things were appearing, and you'd run off and you could look at that?
I haven't seen any of those yet.
You should have a look. Well, there used to be a site you could go to. You could look up a location, and it would tell you all of the places to go for various different monsters. To pick
I
up.
forgot to say this. I have had terrible luck today. I tried catching the guy in the 5-star raid. I messed up, and I had a huge wipeout too.
Oh no! What? Like it actually fell down?
No, on a scooter. I was on a scooter, and I had a fanny pack that had my phone in it. And
oh no!
It slipped down between my legs, and I fell.
Out.
I hit my head. I scratched my arms pretty bad.
Jesus. Were you wearing a helmet?
Nope.
What? You're on a motorized vehicle. Wear a damn helmet. That's the most... It's the most important
A scooter.
part.
Did I say motorcycle by accident?
Well, but they're basically, they're wheeled mobiles. No, those things are... Wait, so you mean like a foot push one where you use your feet?
Yeah, where you just do it with
Those things are freaking deadly. I've fallen off those a million times. Not that I use them much, but... dude, your brain, everything else repairs. Your brain, don't mess with your brain. You have a concussion, you can't remember stuff. You're not, all of a sudden, you're like dumb Vibe Pup instead of like smart Vibe Pup. Watch that noggin, buddy. Look after that brain. It sounds like so stupid. It sounds like such an old guy thing to say, but the reality is, man, you do not want to mess with that gray matter. That is like, that is gold. That's your ticket to fame, fortune, and a giant bank account, Vibe Pup. Don't mess with it.
Huh?
Hey, speaking of which, what grade are you going into? Because you start again this week or next week, right? Is it next week?
This week. Grade 9.
Are you looking forward to it or are you dreading it?
I'm excited, but scared.
Good. Why scared?
Don't like people.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not a big fan of people either. I find there's two Davids. There's the David at home. There's me at home when I'm myself. And then there's the David that goes out. And I think that once you sort of get comfortable with that, you go like, oh, okay, that's my outside person. And he interacts with people this way. And if people don't like him or get angry at him or things don't work out, that's his problem. You know what I mean? Like you almost sort of separate yourself, I find. It's an acting thing. Like my friends call me an extrovert hermit. Because they say
this is something you might find cool. I actually found someone else playing Pokemon Go today.
Oh, we used to meet people all the time. It's like a great way to meet new friends and stuff. Were they cool?
Yeah, he was the same age as me, 13, and he was just at the same 5-star raid that I was.
That's too funny. Yeah, we used to meet people all the time, and I used to go up and talk. I would go and talk to the parents, if the parents were there, and if not, it was just Baz and I would just talk to the kids, and they would exchange, because there's a way. Isn't there like a way of like sharing stuff now or gifting things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should get
trading.
You that. I should get you my wife's. You should Pokemon Go with my wife because she's the only Baz stopped doing it. Jane was still doing it for like a good 6-7 months after Baz stopped.
You have to be really close to trade. That's the thing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Is it a new school? That's the question that Miss Hojat were asking.
Complete new school.
Completely new school. Wow, that's kind of cool though. You get to invent yourself. You could be anybody you want now. Isn't that kind of cool?
But knowing my luck, I'm gonna accidentally walk into the wrong class or just get completely lost.
Well, is it a big school?
Huge.
Oh, huge. But that's kind of cool too, because there's an anonymity to that. If there's so many kids there, it's like there's like a million other people having exactly the same experience. Do you have any friends going to the school with you? Any of the same people you know?
Yeah, and some people I don't like, so that's not fun if I'm in the same class
Yeah,
as
there's
them.
always oh god, yeah, there's that. Do you get to pick grades yet, or is that next year?
I'm pretty sure that's grade 10.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, look, the reality is, as I say, going to a new school is kind of cool because you just everything's new. Like, and there's like how many kids are in your class?
I don't know.
Because that's the other thing is you're not by yourself. The reality is there's at least, I don't know, 20 or 30 other kids who are going through exactly the same thing, right? Yeah, but it's tough though. You know what it is? It's always there's this great. I'm not a huge fan of him right now because of the whole Oscar thing, but Will Smith had this great thing about fear, and he said like, I'm out with my friends. We're like, woohoo! And then someone says like, oh my god, for your birthday, we're gonna go skydiving. And he's like, yeah, skydiving. F yeah, we're gonna go skydiving. And then you wake up the next morning, you're like, oh my god, I really hope they don't remember that. And then they get a call, and it's like, hey, dude, we're going skydiving. We booked it. And you're like, no, I can't. I don't want to die. And all this panic sets in. And then he talks about the whole way there, like the getting to the plane. And you're like, oh my God, I'm getting into a perfectly good plane and I'm going to jump out of it. This is crazy. What am I doing? I got to get out. And then he's in the plane and the plane takes off and they're flying off. And he's like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. What am I doing? I'm going to die. And then he steps out of the plane and he says, and the process of jumping out of the plane, incredibly stressful. But he says, once you're out of the plane, and you're literally hurtling towards the earth. You are literally doing the most dangerous part of the whole process. That's when you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not the thing that you fear. It's the fear of the thing that causes all of the discomfort. And I have to remind myself of this all the time because I don't just play a coward on television. I don't like people or going out, or I'm always terrified of the unknown aspect of it. And you know what? Whenever I come back, I'm always like, oh my God, Jane, thank you so much for making me do that. Because the reality is I did something that I didn't want to do and I've learned something, or I'm better, or I feel, like it's kind of empowering. It's kind of cool. Do you have like do you have a look? Are you like a sports type? Are you a goth? Are you is there a clique you fall into?
Well, I only really wear dark clothes.
Yeah, that was me. The same thing. I still to this day, I generally only wear like maybe dark blue is about as light as I get. All right. So more dressed in black. What about music? Bands?
Like the music I like.
Yeah. What do you listen to?
Let me check my Spotify right now.
Is it also dark and brooding?
Yep.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
I have a rap playlist and like indie rock playlist with like Arctic Monkeys, the Raytons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then the rap stuff as well. Yeah, Baz was playing on some of his rap stuff. He's got a couple of British rappers that I thought were really good. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that's a pretty good mix then. So it's not like you're just listening to like death metal or something. So you're not like a metalhead.
I used to be.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was your favorite metal? What metal did you like?
Slipknot.
Slipknot. All right, good. Does that count as is that metal?
Heavy metal.
Is it? I started listening to what is it called? Oh God, what are they called? I'm gonna have to look it up too. It's this German. I think they're German or something. They're like crazy stuff. Let me see what I've done. Oh, how do I? Is there a way to look and see what my list? Oh, I see. Like Rammstein. Have you heard Rammstein?
No.
It's pretty.
The only
funny.
thing I think of is Ram Jam, the Black Betty people.
Oh, really? I don't know. Oh, that's no. They're they're kind of silly, but they're also just kind of fun. Rammstein. That's it. Yeah, Rammstein is industrial. Is that what it is? I don't even there's so many different terms now. Baz listens to a lot of Nirvana as well, and Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day and
I used to listen to Smashing Pumpkins. I can't.
Not they didn't stick with you.
No, I can't remember what. I'll search it up. I remember I listened to a song by them.
Probably.
Oh, Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Or
I
1979.
went through like a music phase where I just listened to a lot of Nirvana and rock stuff.
The Nirvana's pretty great too. I used to love Nirvana. That was like my absolute favorite. Pearl Jam, some stuff. I like Wormhole 42. I like Pearl Jam. There's a couple of Pearl Jam songs on my list, but I'm kind of poppy that way. Like I tend to like I like Black. Jeremy Spoken. I love that one too. And then of course I just went to see the National because I'm a bearded old white guy. That's basically what we do. We go to National concerts.
Wait, do you want me to name off some songs that I
what do you
to?
got? What do you got? Yeah.
So in my like songs, I have. This is just the ones that I just throw everything into. This song is pretty fun. It's called Mo Bamba Sheck West. Don't listen to it on stream. It says the N-word a couple of times.
Right. Yeah, I never know what to do with that because it just makes me uncomfortable. But at the same time, I'm like, great, you've reclaimed the word. But I just like, it's I always a little uncomfortable with being like sort of that white guy sitting in a car listening to the the N-word being screamed out by some.
Listen to Say It Ain't So by Weezer.
Oh yeah, Weezer. I love Weezer. Yeah.
Humble by Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Who's Pearl Jam's got a new album coming out? Weezer. Yeah, Weezer is great. Wormhole.
I have Don't Fear the Reaper.
Oh.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah. Don't Fear the Reaper. Yeah.
That was actually in the new Call of Duty trailer, that song.
Yeah, how do you find your music?
Just kind of whenever I listen to and get from recommendations from. I used to find it from the AI, the character AI. There was a music bot, and I would actually like ask it, "What's a song like this one I like?" And it would tell me.
Character AI would tell you that?
Yep. There's a music guy.
That's wild. That's really neat.
What
AI are you using? What other AI are you using?
None.
Krista Berg. So I used to drive my wife crazy because I used to sing "Don't Pay the Ferryman" to her belly while Baz was in there.
Oh.
Yeah, because she's like, "Really? You want your son to grow up as a Krista Berg fan?" I was like, "But it's Don't Pay the Ferryman." I used to love that song. Yeah.
I have a very weird music taste. My next one is I Bet You Look on the Dance Floor, Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, the Arctic Monkeys. Yeah. I've got Arctic Monkeys on there. Yeah. Which one do you like? Is that Chasing Cars and stuff? Or was that the right one?
I don't know. It's just kind of one that I really like.
What?
You might be able to just search it up and listen
I'm
to it off stream.
Yes. You don't want me to get... It's Arctic Monkeys. They come up very quickly. What have I got?
And then I have one by Eminem and Snoop Dogg from the...
Oh, Eminem. I love Eminem.
From the D to the LBC.
Oh, maybe
Logic.
Why don't I have the Arctic Monkeys? Who are the ones who did that song? Crap. I've lost it. Damn it. Five Pup. What was it called? I thought it was an Arctic Monkeys song. Okay, I'm looking at their songs. There we go. Nope. Arctic. All right, I'm trying. It's Chasing Cars, I think it was called. Something like that. Chasing Cars. Oh, it's Snow Patrol. Close. Arctic Monkeys, Snow Patrol, very similar. No, very different. Okay, Arctic Monkeys, yes, I do know them. Who else have you got? What was the other one? What else you got?
This is just the one I kind of just throw anything I kind of like in.
Yeah.
This one is very like hard-paced type thing. Side FX by Rebellion Dimitri K and the Dark Horror.
What the hell? What is that? What? Side effects? Okay. Will I like it?
No, you will not.
Okay. Side effects, but I'm gonna look it up anyways. Is it EFX? Like side effects? Like
FX, like the letters.
Oh, okay. All right. I keep getting the Chainsmokers too. Side FX. Okay, and it's like metal, or
no, it's kind of like electronic.
well, I like electronic stuff.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind by Logic. That's a really good song.
Oh, okay. Confessions.
Oh, one second. I think I like the song. I can go quickly tap on it and see. Yeah, I do. Come a Little Closer by Cage the Elephant.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Black Betty by Spiderbait.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that
one. There's one called Mathematical Disrespect by
Logic.
Lil Mabu.
Oh, I think that's is he the British? Is he British?
I think.
I feel like that may be one that Baz was playing. How do you spell? Oh, Lil Mabu.
Like in the song, he does like the first couple of digits of pi in it.
Ah, no, I don't know this guy. Okay, like mathematical.
Yeah, it's called Mathematical Disrespect.
Are you seeing the numbers on these guys? So Mathematical has 95 million.
Oh, my headphones
listens.
just decided to die.
95 million
I
listens.
Don't know where the cord is. 1 second, I have to search.
All right, you go.
My cord pile.
You're good. I'll cover for you. God, I just can't get over. I mean,
Found it.
Music, I think, still has just as much of an impact. Music, I think, has more of an impact than film and TV does now at this point. Gaming has more of an impact than film and TV, I would say.
Now I need to find where I plug it in my headphones.
Listen to some hot
Oh,
chocolate.
I know a couple
Wolf
songs
vibes.
that I really like that I should talk about.
What do you got?
I just need to wait until my headphones decide to work again.
I bought Snow Patrol CD with Chasing Cars and Run because of a fan-made YouTube video about Grant Chansky from Traders. Oh my God. Seriously, that's interesting.
All right, my headphones are back. I have two more that I really, really like.
Okay, what do you recommend?
It's called Don't You Feel Amazing by Trash Boat.
Don't You Feel Amazing. Don't You Feel Amazing. Hey, wait a second. Are you on Spotify?
Yeah.
You should give us a list. Give us a, can we share them? Don't You Feel Amazing.
You want me to make one with all the songs
Yeah, I
in
should
it?
do like a Tech Bandits one. Yeah. All right. Well,
Alien Blues by Wunderbar is really good.
Okay. Don't You Feel Amazing. That's the Trash Boat, guys. Whoop. That's Trash Boat. And then what was the other one?
Don't You Feel Amazing by Wunderbar.
Oh,
I mean, that's the same one.
Trash Boat.
Alien Blues.
Alien Blues.
Alien Blues by Wunderbar.
Alien Blues. Really? Alien Blues by Wunderbar.
Yeah, that's the start of it.
Sweet. That sounds cool.
It is a bit.
What about the Gorillas?
It is a bit of a sad song, just so you know.
Well, what about the Eminem one? Well, how about that? What about that one? About the Stan?
Stan, that.
Yeah. Isn't that creepy?
It's not very sad. It's just a bit of a sad story.
Yeah, it's creepy though. Like it's just I mean,
it's a sad story told in a happy way. If that
Godzilla
makes any sense.
Have you got the
Godzilla's good.
You got the Godzilla rap done yet? Baz?
I remember that was my first song with swears. My mom let me. Well, that was the first song that my mom didn't exactly let me listen to that had swears in it.
We debated that. Like we weren't sure what to do because I remember when we were pregnant. We weren't pregnant. My wife is pregnant. I should stop saying we. But when Jane was pregnant, we talked about like Eminem because we listen to Eminem all the time. Like I used to run up to the Hollywood sign listening to "You Gotta Lose Yourself." I loved Eminem, but his lyrics were problematic because it's all about having like physical fights with your girlfriend and beating them up and calling the police and drugs and all sorts of like stupid stuff. And just like offensive stuff, and we were like, we're not gonna sanitize anything. Our kid is gonna listen to whatever he wants to listen to, and and the reality is our tastes changed. Like we just didn't play that stuff while Baz was a kid. Like it was just like unfortunately, it was like Baby Shark and that kind of crap.
I have two more like techno songs that are pretty good.
I love techno. I love EDM and techno.
These are pretty good.
Okay.
I actually learned them on a long car ride to IKEA a while ago. Obey by Well.
Obey.
Wyel.
Obey by Well. Obey. Okay, let's just look up Obey. It's having a hard time. Obey. Well. Well, I haven't
It's
found
a
it yet.
pretty small person. If you want, I can just
I'm looking.
send the link in the chat.
Scrolling down.
I just sent the song link in the chat, so
Oh,
you can
great.
just click
Oh,
on
perfect.
it.
Okay, perfect.
In Twitch chat, by the way.
Great. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so and then who else? What else you got?
It's another song by Well.
Okay, I should just look up Well then. All right, Well is just Well.
Whyel.
Ah, what?
It's like Y. So Whyy,
Yeah.
and then El.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
how you're supposed to pronounce it though.
Interesting. I like the dual colored hair.
And then the Creed by The Well.
All right. Okay.
Well. The
All right.
Creed by The Well.
All right. That's okay, man. I got a list. Okay, that's great. Let's see if I remember all these.
And then another
I
good
found
one.
Well now.
Another good one. It's called by the Caracal Project. It is called Journée de Merde. It means shitty day in French.
Ah.
It's a really good song. It's by the Caracal Project.
Oh. Journée, like that's day.
I'll send the.
Jour.
I'll send the.
Journée de Merde. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's it by?
The Caracal Project.
Oh, that's not the right one. Oh yeah, send me the link. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll just send the link in the chat.
Yeah, I don't like whole albums either. I've never liked whole albums. Rarely have I liked. You don't listen to albums. You listen to singles, right?
I used to listen to albums. It was Eminem, obviously.
Eminem. I guess they were almost. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I did listen to some Eminem stuff, but I haven't listened to an album for years now. Like.
By the way, the
years.
song I am setting it is a bit of a sadder song.
You definitely need to do a Mid-Journey thumbnail for a Tech Bandits playlist. Ah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, that is true. I have all the Monkees albums. Oh my god, I'm so addicted to them. They don't have the bad song in my opinion. The Monkees. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. Really? That is some dated stuff though. I always thought their stuff was cute and catchy. I'm not sure that I was like a fan, but I was a huge Duran Duran fan. That was my thing. Yeah, Cal, what do you listen to? Good question. It's a full-time job. What music does Cal listen to? Or does she just listen to the sound of the world on fire? I have one Monkees album. First off, we're talking about albums. I don't own a single album anymore. It is all on Spotify now for me. Is that you listen to Spotify is just what you use, right? Pipa?
Yeah, just Spotify.
Sell them. Sell your old albums. There's all sorts of hipsters out there buying them. I love how old school we've gotten in here. Yeah, 45s.
I was actually thinking of getting like fake album cover thingy-mabobs to hang on the wall.
Oh, that's interesting. There's such a pain in the ass to mount though. I had them. I took little filament and because I didn't want to wreck the albums, I would filament them to the wall. So I'd take a little piece I'd like put a couple of nails in, string the filament down, tie it off, slide the albums in, and that's how I mounted mine to the wall. But, you know what I love the most, honestly, right now is we've got a digital picture frame. If I could get a big enough digital picture frame, I would just have it on the wall, and then you could put up album art, you could put up all sorts of stuff, and then it just changes, right? Because how many albums do you want? I mean, I kind of some moods. Some days I'm in a death metal mood. Some days I'm in like I'm always in a Taylor Swift mood because I love Taylor Swift. Do you listen to Taylor Swift?
No, not at all.
Come on. Don't diss her.
I do not like the music.
You know what? I will not hear it. Yeah, I was very skeptical, and then I found it's just such. She also does a couple of duets with my favorite band, which is the National. So the Duran Duran. I was such a big Duran Duran fan. I was actually a paying member of the Duran Duran fan club. I had a card. I got given newsletters. Yeah, it was amazing. I just watched the stadium tour final show on Netflix from Taylor. Is that out now? Oh, I'm watching that. I am watching that. Actually, what time is it? Jesus. Speaking of watching. Holy cow. I've been going for over 2 hours. Vipup, you're too damn interesting. Stop it. Okay. So Vipup, I'm going tomorrow morning. I'm going to watch Lord Chunky's robot take on another robot.
Also, David, make sure to get Pokemon Go.
Really? Do I need to?
Yes, there's a bunch of Charmanders gonna be there tomorrow.
So get Pokemon Go now.
Yes. Everybody in chat, if you can like have data on your phone or can just
Really? You're recommending it that much?
Yes. Get Pokemon Go for tomorrow. There is a huge community day that I am very excited for.
Okay. Tomorrow. Is it any advantage to you that people are more if more people were on?
No. It's actually less, but I don't think anyone's gonna come and steal my Pokemon.
I am. I'm gunning for. Yeah, that's it. I'm there to.
You're just gonna get a flight over here
so
and just try to take everyone I have.
Just personally, or Lance might. I could see Lance doing that. It's the kind of. Where is Lance today? Interesting.
I haven't seen him in chat.
I have not talked. I tried calling him this morning. I couldn't get through, and then I haven't talked to him for ages because I was away for like a week in the wilds. So yeah, that was weird. I tried Pokemon Go. What does it say? Why is there a pin?
Wasn't a fan.
Oh, was not a fan. Yeah. Did we find out what Cal's listening to? Cal, what music do you listen to? Did she put a list? I'm curious to know what Cal listens to. Actually, I think she'd probably have good taste in music. I feel. Yes. I keep meaning to make my own playlist. I've got to do some playlists. I got to do some organization on Spotify because I want to I have like one massive liked list, but then some of it's not like every so often there's like a classical piece and I'm like I don't want I'm not in the mood for that. Or sometimes there's a happy one. I'm like I'm not in the mood for that. I want to be miserable.
What I've been doing is I'll actually make different playlists for different types of songs. Like I have one that I have a game room because my sister moved out, which I charge all my phone stuff in. So
you got a room?
Yeah, it's not where my computer is because there's no Ethernet in there. It's just where I charge stuff. Oh, I didn't tell you this yet. I have something very exciting to say.
What?
Wolfpup got a 3DS. Why am I speaking third person?
Why are you speaking third person? That means you're insane. I think that's a sign of insanity. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. Sorry, you just got a what?
3DS.
You got the old one? The old 3DS?
Yeah.
What did you pay for it?
$100.
Oh, that's not bad. $100 isn't bad at all.
$100 for my. I have it now. It's just an early gift for my birthday in 19 days.
Listen, what's your birthday? September the 20th?
Yes.
You know, Baz is the 27th.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got a 3DS. What are you like you're like, we should, instead of calling yourself Vibe Pup, you should call yourself Retro Pup. You're playing all the old games. What is it about 3DS that you wanted to play? What was the draw?
Pokemon games. I really wanted to get a 3DS XL, but it was $100, so I'm gonna take it.
Right. And where did you get it? Did you get it on like eBay or something?
No, it was at a pawn shop.
I love
Marketable
pawn
Point
shops.
has a couple 3DSs, original and XL. That's actually really cool. Why did you need to get so much?
Well, I think people like collecting them. Like I don't throw away any of my old games. All of my, not games, of the consoles. I just like them. They're like works of art to me. They're like historic works of art. I don't want to throw them out. Pawn shops rule. I absolutely love pawn shops. Yeah, they're second to what we have here. What do they call Variety Village? What's it called? Something Value Village. Do you have a Value Village near you?
Yes,
They can be great because they don't know what things are worth. Like I've gone in and got
they know what everything's worth there.
They do?
The one near me.
Oh,
yep.
You got nerds running it then.
Yeah.
We have nice people running ours, so I can rip them off. Whereas you have nerds. They're hard to do. All right, I better run. I've been talking for too long. Dude, that's cool. All right, so what games are so 3DS? Did it come with games?
I got Pokemon Sun and Mario Kart 7.
Mario. Oh, really? Yeah, okay. We had Sun, I think, or Moon. I can't remember one of the two.
Yeah, Sun has been really fun so far.
Baz loved them. I mean, I love the little handheld things. Handheld devices, they're great. You should look into the Raspberry Pi because that will let you play anything. Like you can put on RetroPie, which is an operating system, and then for like, I don't know, I mean less than $100, I would think you can get a Raspberry Pi and well, I say that. That's a good point. Maybe not. I've been toying with setting one up again. I had RetroPie playing on a Pi for a while. It was just fun. Like you play all these old games from like the Commodore 64.
Dad actually set that up a while ago. RetroPie that
did he?
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you play any of those games? There's like a million games on that. There's no Nintendo though. They're
played anything old in a while. I've just been playing like the Pokemon games because I got Soul
Cards?
Silver. I beat it. It was amazing game.
Soul Silver, that was a newer one. I don't think we got into it at that point.
Yeah.
And what about cards? You doing cards?
No.
No? Because there's money in them cards. Those are they're like collectibles. Because what happens is kids grow up. You grow up. Then all of a sudden you're like 30 and a billionaire, which is probably going to happen.
I just want to say if anyone has Soul Silver or like wants to emulate or anything, do that. It is an amazing game.
Is it really good?
Yeah.
Was it Raspberry Pi smaller than 8 RAM should definitely come in lower than $100? Ancriitis, thank you, sir.
I'm saying this while my mom isn't here. I did stay up almost all night a couple of times sneaking the DS in my room playing Soul Silver. That's how much I like it.
You think we don't know? You think us parents don't know these things?
In my defense, my grandma gave me permission.
Oh, really? Yeah, you know why? Because grandparents are just trying to undermine parents. I've discovered this. My father just goes like, "Ah, don't be so tough on him." I'm like, "Excuse me? You were so tough on me."
My grandma sent me a Game Boy Color and
what?
A Game Boy Color with
the old
Pokemon
original,
Red.
like the old original one.
Yeah.
Oh, those were beautiful. I was so jealous of people who had those, and I was jealous of the one when they had the LCD one, just the plain screen.
She used to play it with. My grandma and mom used to play Pokemon together.
Oh, really? On the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Or the cards.
But I can get a job when I'm 14, so I'm planning on just saving enough money to get an XL. Maybe I don't know what I want to do once I can get one.
Well, and what kind of a job are you looking at? What's gonna make the most money and be the most fun?
There don't really know. I don't even know what jobs I can get when I'm 14.
Well, Baz worked at a comic book store for a while. And
we do have one near me. It is really cool. The thing is, most of the paycheck would be going to it.
That was Baz's problem. He was always buying me comics with his money. But that's worth asking. But I think in a lot of cases you start like Baz started for free. He went in and said, "Can I help?"
Oh.
Like I said, I volunteered him. I voluntold him that he had to get a job because he wasn't going to camp that year. So I said, "Look, if you have to pay him. Just if there's something he could be doing, that'd be great." And I was friends with the guy who ran it. It got closed, or it's closing because the subway is taking the property. They're building a new subway in Toronto, and his comic book store is on top of it, so he's shutting it down. Anyways, yeah, isn't that? I was like, really? That's not cool. I think he makes more money by doing. He's got in his basement. He has a dog groomers. I think he makes more money in the dog grooming than he does in the comic books. And the comic books, I think, it's kind of a hassle to run a comic book store by the sound of it. So Baz went in as a volunteer, and then they started paying him. So that's that. I mean, like you could go in before you're 14 and say, "Hey, is there something I could do? Can I help around the comic book store if you're interested in comics?" And then they're like, "Yeah, sure, kid, whatever." And then once you're invaluable, then you could start charging them the big bucks. What's the minimum wage now?
David, I wasn't able to hang out long, but I have to head out. Burgers are done.
Oh, good. Enjoy your burgers. I've got to go too. All right, that was the longest goodbye ever. All right, Retro Pup. We'll see you later. Enjoy. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. All right. which is actually a good way for me to say goodbye because I too have got to go. Everyone, thank you so much. I never heard of a comic book store internship before. I know I invented it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure that I invented it, but I invented it for Baz because I was worried he wasn't going to camp.
Burger time.
He didn't want. That's the burger song in the background. All right, everyone, be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Until we geek again, get on over to techbandits.org. Sign up for the Tech Bandits email of awesomeness because it is awesome, and I'm about to do a new one with some cool stuff in it. And if you want to help out, there's all sorts of things you can do. There's coins you can buy and merch you can buy and all sorts of stuff. So go check out techbandits.org. Did we ever find out what Cal's music list is? No, we didn't. I'm going to hound her. I will haunt her like a bad smell. I shall haunt her until we know what music she listens to. Thank you, as always, to the fabulous Cal. As someone says, my name is Cal, bright and cheerful, and I'm all rainbows and unicorns. What would anyone do without me? I am the hammer of justice, the Hewlett conscience, the truth speaker of our little stormy cloud in the chat. Hugs. Thank you, Cal. Love you to bits, baby. Talk to y'all later. Thanks very much.